Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Thank you for being with us this Thursday afternoon. Week's almost over, folks, but not quite yet. And a lot of news continues to churn through the news cycle, with Carolyn Leavitt having a press conference, a press briefing this morning. And, you can continue to see some of the same things coming out of the White House. A lot of what I would say is not doubling down, but resolve in the issues that are facing them, certainly with Iran. President Trump's not back down at all from that. I think that the idea that he engaged in some diplomacy for some time was something that maybe he was, I don't want to say he was naively hopeful, but he sure as heck got to say that he did it, that he tried it. And now, as we move forward into what seems to be a more inflamed moment in this conflict, it's not like they can say he never even tried to have a conversation with these people. He did try to have a conversation with those people, and much to the chagrin of a lot of people advising President Trump, they knew he was never going to pay that Iran was never going to pay attention to what they were doing. You don't negotiate with terrorists. I mean, that's a playful euphemism that you use when you're like trying to negotiate maybe a bedtime with a toddler. Like, don't negotiate with. This is like actually the terrorist thing. The reason you don't negotiate with them is because it only incentivizes them to do more of what they're used to doing, their way of life. That's what they do. Fox News reports President Donald Trump said this morning that the United States will inflict, quote, major military punishment on Iran if the Houthis continue attacking ships in the Red Sea. The Houthis, an Iran-backed terrorist group in Yemen, fired at two Saudi Arabian ships on Wednesday. President Trump wrote on Truth Social, quote, a year ago, the United States of America attacked very powerfully the Houthis for their interference with commerce and trade by shooting at ships. Since that time and during our conflict with Iran, the Houthis have acted very responsibly. Unfortunately, now they are starting up again. Please let this truth, in all caps, posted on Truth Social, serve to represent that if they do this again, the United States will hold Iran responsible and that the Houthis are a surrogate and or proxy of Iran, and major military punishment will be inflicted upon Iran and, of course, the Houthis themselves, who I'm very disappointed with, in that they have, until now, acted very professionally and smart. President Trump is not letting anyone off the hook, and I think that it is important to remember that the idea of terrorism throughout the entire Middle East, the idea is always originating there in Iran. That is the funding, and that is where you get the head of the beast. President Trump, in another Fox News here, the report is that President Donald Trump is considering launching a, quote, massive attack on Iran that would eclipse the first strikes the United States and Israel carried out in the early days of Operation Epic Fury. That's according to Axios. Trump has not made a decision on this and did not say when the attack may happen if he orders it. I'm considering a massive attack, he said, bigger than ever before. I'm close to making a decision. We're all set for it. James Cerrone from Fox News reports Trump also said that Israel would join the proposed operation in 2 minutes if I asked them to. He stressed that, quote, we don't need anybody to help in the campaign against Iran. So where will we go? How will this develop? I don't know, but this does seem to be the full force that we've been hearing from one of our particular guests that comes on our show with some regularity, Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg. From the time that the diplomacy started, discussions of a peace deal, of a ceasefire, of a MOU, a memorandum of understanding, from all of this discussion, you had General Kellogg there saying they're not going to listen to reason. They're not going to sit down and have this epiphany of a moment where they say, you know, maybe we should just give peace a chance. It's not going to happen. So we're going to speak with Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg at 1:30 here on the Annie Frey Show and get his reaction to the activity that absolutely seems to be in a moment where it's going to start ramping up once again. It does seem to be what the general was saying we should do and has been saying for quite some time now what we should do. So we'll ask Kellogg at 1:30 to break down this moment, what this means, if this is a big step forward or if it feels maybe like we're taking a little bit of a step back. Don Tracy is the Republican candidate for Senate in Illinois, looking to replace Dick Durbin. A tough hill to climb, but one he's willing to traverse. He's going to speak with us at 1:05, and we're going to talk to him about his candidacy against Juliana Stratton. a hand-picked candidate for that Senate seat by J.B. Pritzker, certainly Juliana Stratton, a woman who is very closely aligned with J.B. Pritzker. If you go to Chicago, at least I was there. I should say this. I was there during the primary. It was a very hotly contested primary to win the Democratic nomination for that Senate seat. Again, I liken it much to Missouri. Missouri, it feels like the real Senate race happens in the Republican primary. Who is going to take that next Senate seat, which you don't have open right now? It's generally who wins the Republican primary. So you have a lot of people, a lot of hats in the name, a lot of names in the hat, a big, ferocious primary competition. And then when it gets to the general election, or should it be the midterms, that Republican usually wins with some confidence, a little bit of wiggle room. That's the likely outcome in the state of Illinois, only in favor of the Democrats. So that primary, I was in Chicago in March, beginning of March, for a basketball tournament for my daughter. And the whole, literally the commercial breaks in the hotel room while we were watching TV in between games or whatever, it was all Democrat primary campaign ads. And there were times where we saw the same campaign ad in the same commercial break. The amount of money being poured into Chicago to ensure that the Democrat turnout for a Democrat primary candidate was nauseating. It was absolutely nauseating. I didn't see a single Republican ad the entire time we were up there. Nobody is spending money to cut through the Republican to the Republican voter in Chicago. And that's one of two things. Either they don't think it's worth it or they can't afford it. And I would assume that because they can't afford it, they don't think it's worth it, likely. Juliana Stratton is the Democrat nominee for that Senate seat. And she is currently the lieutenant governor of the state of Illinois with J.B. Pritzker, and now is vying for that Dick Durbin seat. Can Don Tracy beat her? He's going to talk to us at 1:05 about his plan on what he would do if he won, but ultimately how does he compete in this Illinois Senate race? We want to make sure we bring that to you. And then Hans von Spakovsky is going to be with us here in about 5-6 minutes. We're going to talk to Hans about, first and foremost, Jack Smith. You get that note over that notification over the last probably 12 hours or so. Jack Smith has been hit with criminal referral. Jack Smith is a name that he always just keeps popping up. He's like the Forrest Gump of trying to get Trump. From Fox News, they report former Biden special counsel Jack Smith could face potential criminal prosecution after Republicans accuse the ex-prosecutor of misleading Congress about the scope of his investigation into President Donald Trump. You remember there were 44 names, people who were, they were searched. Their text messages, their records, they were snooping around. And what were they snooping around for, and were they doing it legally? House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan issued a criminal referral for Jack Smith, yesterday evening, arguing newly released records contradict Smith's testimony to Jordan's committee, who is the House Judiciary Committee chairman. They're saying that the testimony that he gave to the House Judiciary Committee conflicts with what actually happened. He testified. This is an under oath situation here, folks. He testified to the House Judiciary that he did not obtain or review lawmakers' text messages during his multiple probes into Donald Trump. So you have Chairman Jordan writing a letter here to the Attorney General, who is the acting Attorney General, Todd Blanche, not yet confirmed by the Senate. And in that letter, he said, all individuals have an obligation to comply with a duly authorized congressional inquiry. Mr. Smith, a former public servant, is no different, yet his testimony included intentionally false statements designed to obstruct the committee's oversight. His conduct can only be understood as an effort to thwart the committee's inquiry by intentionally making false statements and representations before Congress. Now, listening to Jim Jordan earlier today in a conversation, I think it was on America's Newsroom, he reiterates, when you testify either in public or in a closed door hearing, which is usually has to do with where you have Congress asking questions that are not for public consumption because of security concerns, you are testifying to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. You can't tell partial truths. You can't circumnavigate what you want people to know. If that involves leaving out truths, that are part of the full context of the situation. And that's what Jim Jordan is saying that Jack Smith did. I always think it's important to be aware, and this is where Hans von Spakovsky, our next guest here in a few minutes, is going to come in. What is being said right now that Jack Smith did wrong? Is what he did wrong, or is it what he testified that he did that was wrong? Because this is a criminal referral about what he said he did. Now, in addition to that, if what he actually did and didn't testify in a whole true circumstance, if what he actually did was criminal, then there is an additional amount of charges that could be levied against Jack Smith, but we don't know that yet. He hasn't been charged. He's been referred to the acting attorney general, Todd Blanche. And when we return with Hans von Spakovsky, he's going to give us the layout of what did Jack Smith do? What did he testify that he did? And does it look as though he's in some legal peril here? Did he give false testimony? Hans von Spakovsky on the Annie Frey Show next. Right here in the break, we're going to get the YouTube live chat poll up. What's your biggest concern going into the midterm election? You've got 4 options for today. There is a lot of talk about who is set up to do well in the midterms, and it looks like we don't know yet. The Democrats have a shot to pull this thing off. The Republicans have a shot to pull this thing off. What will matter to you most come November? Affordability, the Iran conflict, election integrity, or socialism? We'll get that poll up here in the next couple minutes. Hustle over to the Annie Frey YouTube channel to vote, and you can text us your thoughts at 314-241-9797. That's 314-241-9797. We'll be back in a minute.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Trisha Burns never answers the call. Trisha Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Trisha Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Trisha Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Trisha Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Trisha Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Foss, Treasurer.
Well, I'm sure you're aware, I guess you can all imagine, that not only are we busy, but other reputable companies are also just as busy, if not busier, and it's only going to get worse. So if you know, I know this is tough, but if your system has not been keeping up with your house, for just not this year, but last year, the year before, and even the year before that. If you want to quit doing it and just get it done, just call me, Bart Inman, and it's one easy number, the easiest of numbers that sometimes I forget. So write it down. 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I. Egglands.com. God bless.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Former Special Counsel Jack Smith hit with a criminal referral. House Judiciary Committee Republicans now accuse him of misleading Congress during sworn testimony under oath when he claimed he did not obtain or review lawmakers' text messages during his multiple investigations into President Trump. So that's where we start.
There you have Bill Hemmer on Fox News reporting on the Jack Smith referral for charges from Chairman Jim Jordan. Let's get to our guest. Hans von Spakovsky joins us now to talk about what this referral might mean and maybe give us a little background on how we got to here. Hans von Spakovsky, Advancing American Freedom Senior Legal Fellow, former FEC Commissioner, and former DOJ lawyer. Hans, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being with us.
Sure, thanks for having me. Well, this is all because when Smith appeared under oath before congressional committees investigating this, he was specifically asked, did you examine the text of lawmakers' messages when you were conducting your, special investigation? And he said, no, I only sought the toll records. In other words, he only sought the records of who called who and when they did it. And he's, specifically saying he didn't read the text, but the documentation that Jim Jordan and others have received now from the Justice Department indicates he was lying when he said that in fact he and his lawyers actually did read texts between lawmakers, and that's what this is all about. That's what the criminal referral to the Justice Department is, because under federal law, when you testify in front of a congressional committee, at the beginning of it, you stand up as a witness and you swear an oath to tell the truth. I've done it multiple times when I've been testifying. And if you lie to that committee, you're committing perjury.
So, Hans, I think it was Jamie Raskin said that he answered the questions that were asked. And Jamie Raskin kind of cracked the door for Jack Smith to have provided the answers that he did, saying that those people who were questioning Jack Smith in that hearing didn't ask particular questions and that the answers given were sufficient to the questions that were provided. In your assessment of this situation, do you feel like Jamie Raskin does have the ability to rightfully crack the door for Jack Smith to sneak out on this one?
No. No. And anybody who knows the history of Representative Raskin knows not to believe a word coming out of his mouth. Look, I've looked at this, and it's pretty clear to me that Smith was specifically asked, did you read the text messages of all these telephone records you obtained? And he said, no, he and his investigators didn't do that. And now we know they did. So, Raskin issues statements like that because he's hoping the press will pick it up and say, oh, there's nothing to this. But anybody who looks at the actual the documents, et cetera, will see that, no, they've got a pretty substantial case against Smith that he lied to this congressional committee.
Hans von Spakovsky speaking with us, Advancing American Freedom Senior Legal Fellow. Also, I understand you're broadcasting from Orlando at the American Legislative Exchange Council.
Right.
Talk to me a little bit about what you're doing there and what the American Legislative Exchange Council does. I understand that it's a team of state legislative leaders along with other folks like yourself. What kind of activity are you doing there in Central Florida?
ALEC is the National Association of almost overwhelmingly conservative state legislators, and they get together, and this is their annual conference. And one of the big things they do is they have task forces on all kinds of issues, and what those task forces do is develop model legislation, model state legislation. How to handle all kinds of different issues. Probably the issue that's really been of interest here this week has been the problem of people who are not U.S. citizens registering and voting. And, that got an added boost when the Democratic governor of New Jersey had to admit in a quickly called press conference that New Jersey discovered that over 6,600 aliens had gotten registered to vote in the state through the DMV licensing. We shouldn't worry about it because only 400 of them voted.
Yeah, which means that there are some that have voted. So this "it never happens" argument is trash fodder. It's not actually real. It does happen. I'm wondering at a conference like ALEC, or when you're meeting with these state legislators, I mean, a lot of people will talk about a constitutional convention, which would be very civically exciting for nerds to watch, including myself. But I do think about how elections they're governed by the states. We've got the Save America Act is the topic du jour on Capitol Hill, and I don't know if it's going to get through the Senate or not. Hopefully it does. But how are conservatives that are meeting at this ALEC conference, or that you speak to on a state legislative level, are they really, is election integrity a very high priority issue for them right now?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And all the recent news, not only what happened in New Jersey, but the president's speech, and in particular, the release of all these declassified documents, make it very clear that this is an issue that should concern them, and they want to know what can they in the states do to fix this. And one of the things they're all talking about is making sure that their state election officials are getting access to and using the SAVE database. That's the database at the Department of Homeland Security that they can check to find out the citizenship status of people who are registered to vote. And, there are various lawsuits going on about that, but that's probably one of the best ways that states can check to make sure they don't have aliens registered to vote.
I just think that's like such a foundational, probably very popular across all people who are involved in this discussion or paying attention to our elections. They want to see the integrity, like at a baseline, the people who are voting should be citizens. I'd like to play for you real quick here, Hans, a clip from Speaker Johnson talking about the effort to get the Save America Act through the Senate. And now, there's this thing called reconciliation. There's this really exciting moment where J.D. Vance gets to come in and hopefully save the day. But I'm going to play for this clip for you, and then you can give us a little bit of the constitutional understanding of what is taking place.
And the budget resolution that unlocks our third reconciliation bill, which, of course, is Republicans' best shot to get as much of the Save America Act into law as possible, in addition to funding our national defense and our farmers. Republicans support our troops, our farmers, and election security. We're the only team in Washington that does. Many of you doubted our success. Many of you standing around me in the Skaggle right now said, let me read you a sample of the headlines. Quote, House Republicans face final week gauntlet. Another said, Johnson's rocky sprint to recess. Another said it was Johnson's make or break week. Despite nearly every Democrat voting against everything I just read you, House Republicans delivered. Now, many of you like to say that major legislating can't happen in an election year. We just proved you wrong. This week we continue to deliver for the people, and we're going to continue that streak all the way through the end of this year and into the next Congress. We're increasingly confident that we will hold and grow this majority in the House. We must, because you're seeing a demonstration of the two sides, the divergent views for America.
So Speaker Johnson there from Capitol Hill talking about the work they're doing, of course, with a lot of very good, flowery political speak around it. But Hans von Spakovsky speaking with us right now, he's saying that the Save America Act is going to only need 50 votes in the Senate, and J.D. Vance can come tie. Is that how you see it?
That's the only way it's going to pass, because, as you know, we have a very small number of Republican senators who are mistakenly against it, and that includes Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Tom Tillis of North Carolina. Those are the extra votes that they would ordinarily need to pass it, and without those, it's probably 50 votes plus the VP. Look, Johnson actually he needs to be given a lot of credit because against uniform opposition from the Democrats, he got the defense authorization bill through, got the SAVE Act attached to it, and remember. He's only got about a half a dozen vote margin in the House. It's one of the smallest in U.S. history, and yet he got this bill through. And I got to say, I'm pretty impressed with that.
Yeah, President Trump, he has a pretty heavy hand when it comes to influencing and keeping people in line. But I don't think he does that if the speaker isn't able to do the on-the-ground, minute-by-minute work.
Right.
And it seems as though Speaker Johnson has been able to do the job of the speaker with the slimmest of majorities.
Yeah, no, it's very true. And, something kind of interesting about this is that, remember in Kentucky, the president came out very much against Representative Massey, the Republican congressman, getting reelected. And in fact, he was defeated in his primary. And who's been the Republican who voted with the Democrats against the defense authorization bill and the SAVE Act? It was Massey.
Yeah. Well, Hans, we appreciate you coming to us from Orlando and fitting us into your schedule. We're looking forward to seeing what happens next year. And also, of course, with that Jack Smith criminal charge referral, if anything happens there, you'll be our first phone call to talk to us about it. Hans, thank you for your time. As always, we appreciate you.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. Hans von Spakovsky is Advancing American Freedom Senior Legal Fellow, former FEC Commissioner, and former DOJ lawyer, broadcasting with us from the American Legislative Exchange Council in Orlando. We're going to take a quick break here. Get Ryan in studio with us. That YouTube live chat poll is up and running. If you went to check on it before, my bad. I didn't get it up before the show started. Sorry. What's your biggest concern going into the midterm election? Is it affordability? Is it the Iran conflict? Election integrity? Or socialism? Those are your options in the poll today. If you want to throw something else out at us, of course, leave it in the YouTube comments or give us a text on the Annie Frey Show text line, your thoughts on this poll. Your biggest concern going into the midterm election at 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. We'll be right back.
Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-619-3377. That's 800-619-3377. 800-619-3377.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Tricia Burns never answers the call. Tricia Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Tricia Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Tricia Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Tricia Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head. End quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Trisha Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job. Cut the Bullpack paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA, so we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Well, I love today's YouTube live chat poll because it's basically asking you, what's the biggest thing on your mind right now politically? The question is, what's your biggest concern going into the midterm election? Is it, here's your options, affordability, the Iran conflict, election integrity, or socialism? Wow, that's going to be tough to pick from, but we're asking you to do it and make your priority known today in the YouTube live chat poll. It is 12:35. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. So there's a lot on our plate today with these options surrounding the biggest concern you might have going into a midterm election. Affordability is a huge one that a lot of people are talking about. It doesn't matter if you're on the right or the left. There are a lot of concerns about your money and how much you get to keep of it, how much you get to take home with you, how much everything costs. It's all over the place. And Fox News, they get real super excited about their power rankings. I don't blame them. We can kind of get excited about them too. I like these types of polls that talk more about like what people are caring about as opposed to just polling like who you're going to vote for. Because I don't think that who you're going to vote for, to me it's always like who would you vote for? And then the question is, do you even show up to vote? It's a big part of elections is turnout. So there's a Fox News poll showing right now that there are people that are unhappy with the way things are going and they want major change. If you go to foxnews.com, Dana Blanton has a great summation of some of these polls that they've put out. According to this report here, it bodes well for Democrats in November. President Donald Trump's job approval remains near a record low. More Democrats are motivated to vote. Republicans join Democrats and independents in rating the economy negatively. And 4 in 10 voters want dramatic or revolutionary change. That sounds scary. So you might be hearing this and be like, yeah, the economy, I need more of it to work for me. Affordability is really a big issue. But when I hear Fox News saying 4 in 10 voters want dramatic or revolutionary change, that takes me to the last option in today's poll. Are they talking about socialism? You know, like a fundamental transformation of the United States of America. We've been promised that before by American president hopefuls and then American presidents. According to this Fox News report as well, more view the GOP as tied to elites in the Democratic Party. What are you looking at? What in the Democrat Party right now is really in touch with the non-elites? The entire motivation behind the Democrat message right now are the really wealthy people, the university, intellectual elites that are like overly educated and super pretentious. Overly educated, OESPs. And The people who are really wealthy because they can pretend to be somebody else, or they're really good at music, or they're really good at sports. The influencers who are in entertainment who get to dabble in the idea of the little people should have something too. Don't you think? Don't you think that'd be nice? What a poor man's charity. Taxes. When they can afford to participate in an economic lifestyle where a big chunk of their gigantic wealth gets cut off from them and then provided to not the people who need it, but the people who will give it to the people who will need it, but it never gets there. That's socialism. It seems as though the people most in favor of socialism can afford it, and it will never benefit the people who would actually need it. The actual full throttle idea of socialism never actually makes it to the people who need it. There will still be a great division of people that haves and have-nots, and socialism only defines it further and takes away the power from you to manage your life. Election integrity, I kind of feel like the entire Save America Act is wrapped up in the idea of election integrity, and then the Iran conflict. I don't think you can take that one off. I think that's one that might be the biggest deal because people want it off the table for the midterm election. Is there an obvious answer, Ryan, in affordability, Iran, election integrity, and socialism? Is there like an automatic, that's 100% it?
I hate to tell you this, but there is not. Those are big issues. I would say Iran is probably the lowest on my scorecard.
I feel like it's the biggest because it's like the almost the physically biggest, and it could be resolved in a way that the actual real domestic American issues that actually do need to be solved by, you're not going to change the commander-in-chief in November.
Right. Yeah, so if you had to categorize these, I think I would put affordability and Iran conflict in the same category, and that is things I think about the most often. And that almost would make them those most important. But then I go to the other side and I say, no, election integrity and socialism are sort of the big issues that I think long-term that we're going to have to deal with the most. So I almost tend to go back to the other side and say it's got to be election integrity or socialism, because I think those are things that are not going away.
And so affordability is not on the table for you? That's the issue.
I think about it the most.
But I was going to say that's the biggest issue. Fox would say that affordability is the biggest issue.
It might be.
That of all of these other things on the list, if Trump could get the affordability issue into his corner, that he'd come out okay.
Well, that's probably true, especially for the midterms. So I guess, since this is about the midterm election, maybe it is affordability. I'm going to the text line here because they're coming in fast and furious now that we're talking about it, of course. The first one says, affordability, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. The next one says, number one is voting integrity. And then the war in Iran is second, which I wouldn't have predicted. And then right after that,
election integrity and then Iran?
And then Iran, yeah. And then the next one right after that says election integrity, otherwise the rest doesn't matter. And there are a few that just have a lot of comments on all of it about socialism and so forth. But they're all over the board.
The election integrity or the rest doesn't matter is a good point. But at the same time, I think that there's a process to the election integrity issue. I think the redistricting is the number one thing that makes this midterm election 50-50. The Republicans and their redistricting, the Supreme Court ruling about, was it Louisiana, that said that you can't be like, but we need a black district. Let's draw a circle around a lot of black people so that the black people can have a district. That is a racially connotated district map. You can't do that. You can't do it to draw black people out of a district either. It's there should be compact and contiguous and all that stuff. There is progress being made to reflect Congress specifically more as a representation of the constituency and the people, where the people are going to choose their representatives as opposed to the representatives choosing their people. You don't get to choose your constituents, except for you've been able to do that. And now the Supreme Court has said, at least from a racially designated standpoint, you can't do that. So those things are changing. The census in 2030 is going to be enormous, which is where I feel like the 2028 election is the pivotal moment in where are we going to go on this thing. But there's such a big opportunity right now that if you miss this opportunity, like you could lose the opportunity to make so many gains. But if you don't do the Save America Act before this Congress is gone, it's not DOA.
Yeah, midterms are one small step for man. 2028 is
What about
one
the
giant
women?
leap for mankind.
What about the women? Why is it got to be a sexist thing?
Because the 1969 moon landing told us that it has to be sexist.
I wore a black shirt today so that if you describe me today, you couldn't say the word flowers.
I would say just kind of
Black?
brooding.
Do you
No,
think
I would say
I'd say
she's like
blonde.
a blonde lady, black.
Got it.
So is that a new thing where I have to describe you at the
I
end
don't
of
know.
every show?
I don't want you to do it every day. You couldn't outperform the explanation of what I look like that you did the other day. It's on the Annie Frey YouTube channel Shorts, and I think you can see it on the 97.1 Facebook page as well. Very funny. Let's take a break here. When we come back, Wiggins America, 5 things women actually find attractive by Ryan Wiggins. I would like, in the YouTube chat and on the Annie Frey Show text line, a prediction of, out of 5, how many of these is Ryan going to get right?
Well, I think that you're going to find that they're pretty accurate.
5 things women actually find attractive.
Yeah, like digging past the surface level stuff. Getting into the real.
Chiseled jaw.
No, that's surface level.
Rippling muscles.
No, none of that matters at all.
Loads of cash.
That matters.
Got Popeye walking around with gold doubloons. That's my guy, man, right there. Yeah, right.
Senator Menendez is ideal.
Yeah.
The ideal man.
Gold bars in the inside pocket because you don't want to be showy.
Right.
You can text us at 314-241-9797. Your thoughts on the Annie Frey YouTube poll. Your biggest concern about the midterm election, affordability, the Iran conflict, election integrity, or socialism. And out of 5, text us how many of these things that women actually find attractive is Ryan going to get right? 0 for 5? 5 for 5? We'll find out next. Don't go away. The Retirement Advisory Group, you find them online at retirementkey.com. We've got an event coming up, and I need to see you there. Are you ready? I'm excited for that opportunity to meet you at the Doubletree Chesterfield, August 11th. We're going to be there. It's a Tuesday. The event starts at 6:30, but we show up, Mark and I show up at about 6 o'clock. Mark Reardon comes over in a fevered pitch to get there right after he gets out of the studio because we want the opportunity to talk to you and get to know you a little bit. The room is filled with 97.1 folks just like you who are right there on the verge of retirement, and you want to make sure you make the right moves. So the event is free. It officially starts at 6:30. It may last 30, 45 minutes or so, and you get some opportunity to talk to Bob and Tammy Kershaw about these particular issues that you're looking at, the transition into retirement. Make the smart moves. Don't miss this free event, and I'd really like the opportunity to meet you. Reserve your spot at 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. August 11th at the Doubletree in Chesterfield. I'll be there. You will too. Go get your spot. retirementkey.com.
Never miss a beat. Take 97.1 FM Talk with you. The voices you trust, Mark Cox, Annie Frey, Mark Reardon, Scott Jennings, and more are just a tap away with the Odyssey app. Stream 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I'm Attorney General Catherine Hanaway, and I want to welcome you to Missouri for the Matches. We are on alert for human trafficking. It's often in plain sight. It's people who seem isolated, controlled, or who don't have their ID or money. To share a tip, download the Simply Report app or call 1-833-5-BE-SAFE. We need your help to stop human trafficking.
Sponsored by the Missouri Attorney General's Office.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
It's Mark Cox. Celebrate the month of July with Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129 and get your air ducts cleaned for $5.99 per unit. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the savings.
Somewhere close to home, your new best friend is waiting. At the Humane Society of Missouri, we give animals in need the second chance they deserve, so you can find the one who's been waiting for you. Visit hsmo.org/adopt.
Wiggins!
Oh,
Wiggins! All right, these are things that women actually find attractive in men.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to peel back the layers because, guys, you probably think you need giant pectoral muscles or really strong glutes. But no, these are below the surface. And Annie's going to confirm all of them.
I want Brad to confirm before I confirm.
Okay.
I want Brad to agree or disagree, and then I will tell you guys if you're right.
All right. And by the way, this
is an article?
Yeah.
This
This
isn't
is a real article. I didn't just make this up.
Don't act like you wouldn't.
This is from dating experts.
Okay, fine.
It says at Vice.com dating experts.
Mhm.
So, I'm sure they put a lot of time into this too. The first one.
5 things women actually find attractive.
Being kind. Actually being kind. Kindness might sound like a participation trophy answer, but the research says it's a big deal that women prefer to, and they are more attracted to, more intelligent, kinder, gentler men.
So kindness and intelligence is in the same category.
Yes.
It's interesting,
It
Brad.
says.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that, but I think that you have to understand that there's a difference between being kind and being a pushover, because I don't think they would like it if you were just kind of a squishy.
Mm-hmm.
But genuine, sincere kindness, like what that's describing, absolutely 100% would agree with that.
It's tied for first.
Is it?
I don't know how many. I don't know with how many things. maybe 5, maybe 4 other things.
Yeah.
But if you're a butthead, I was going to say 2 other body parts, but
bottom head.
Bottom
yeah.
orifice. Bye. Like, no. Done. I don't care how attractive you are. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how funny you think you are. No. Kindness. At least tied for first.
Okay, number 2, somebody who thinks they're real funny. No, I'm just kidding.
I
All right.
funny's on there.
Number 2 is confidence that doesn't need a room to prove it. Dating coach Jamie Date, who coaches men on attraction, man, what a profession.
What a sad appointment to have to make.
No kidding. Has amassed over 169,000 Instagram
How do you gain the confidence
followers
to
doing
call
it.
that person?
I don't know. That guy's got to walk into a room and just everybody knows that guy's confident.
Your buddy books it for you.
He's
Yeah.
intelligent. I know I got a problem.
Yeah, right. But making the case that genuine confidence signals that a man is equipped to handle challenges and provide support rather than creating challenges.
Yes, agree.
Yeah?
Women like that. And it's like not cockiness, but confidence. So I guess that's what they meant by not
Doesn't need the room to prove it, but he's
right.
confident
Just kind of walks
anyway.
in with the way they carry themselves. So
Yep.
yeah, I would agree.
Tied for first with confidence.
Darn.
Or with kindness. Because if you're a man who's like, tell me I'm pretty, I'm going to be like, you are not pretty. Sorry. Like, that women should be cared for in that way. You should feel like your guy is your rock. He is your go-to. If you're not confident about something, but you know that confidence needs to be there, you need to fake it till you make it, and then have a panic attack on your own or something like that. That's not to say that a woman shouldn't be there to support her man, but that's your job. And if you're feeling a certain type of way about yourself, if you're feeling down or low, that's understandable. That's human. She should be there to support you in that, but it should not be the basis of your relationship. You've got to be confident because you know that you're good at the things you're good at. And confidence also is an understanding of recognizing the things maybe you aren't as good at and being willing to take in help or assistance. But man, lack of confidence is very unattractive in a romantic capacity.
All right, so we're 2 for 2.
Yes, you're doing great.
Here is
How do you
where
feel?
I feel very confident and gentle.
It's your the first part's your normal state of mind.
Yeah, this is always.
I feel great.
I feel fine. Yeah, the boss just said you're getting a demotion. Oh yeah, well that's on him.
His loss.
Yeah. Next
Honestly,
one.
sometimes that's the right attitude.
These are the ones that start to be a little bit more like. Tell me if you think this one would actually also be tied for first, like the first two were.
Italian accent.
No, although that is a fun.
Your confidence is a little on the upside on that one.
Make her laugh, but read the room. A good sense of humor also consistently lands near the top of every list, but it can be gold. But if you can't laugh at yourself, making yourself the butt of every joke in the situation, self-depreciation isn't cute.
Brad?
Deprecation.
Self-deprecation. Yeah, I would say that. Is that what they meant by read the room?
Yeah, like have a sense of humor, but don't always think you just need to be funny.
Don't take yourself too seriously, but also understand when it is time to be serious and not be trying to make a joke out of everything.
Yeah.
But you said also don't be too self-deprecating?
Self-deprecating constantly isn't cute.
I would agree with that. I would think that would make women think that you don't have the confidence that the first one. So you could self-deprecate. You have confidence to I don't take myself too seriously. But if you're constantly beating yourself up, that would be bad.
The reason why this is so split on, also tied for first, is because it's not about, this is a really important nuanced point. It's not about you making jokes to make her laugh, although you should do that. I think in a completely platonic, non-romantic way, I think, Ryan, this is why we have so much fun together on the air, is because we find the same things amusing before anything is even said. Like you and I have a similar sense in one area, in other places completely different. But we can see the humor in something that has happened because our brains are focused to find things funny, not to find things like Eeyore, okay, I guess we'll go to work today. It's not that. It's what's funny, like how is this funny? And you and I specifically in the same lane now, probably because we've been working together for 6 years, we find things funny, even sometimes like with a glance at each other.
Yeah.
And it might not ever even make it over the air.
That's true.
So I think when you're talking about a romantic partner, you have to find the same things funny in life.
Rhonda B. Webb. I've never seen her on our chat before.
I think that's pronounced Webb?
Rhonda Webb. Says, confidence, yes. Arrogance, no.
Amen, sister.
A lion doesn't need to tell people he's a lion. They can see it.
Mm-hmm.
People that have to tell people they're good people usually aren't.
Amen. Amen, amen, amen. Rhonda wrote this article.
And other people chiming in saying, Rhonda, that's a great idea.
Do you have another one?
There are
one?
a couple more.
There are several more?
Well, there's enough that we could carry this into.
Put a pin in it and not rush it through the end. Okay.
Yeah.
So is that 3 or 4?
That's 3 of the 5.
3 for 3.
Okay.
So far, you're doing great.
I would say the last 2 are a little more. They're not a guarantee to be tied for first.
Okay. Well,
they're good.
There obviously has to. I don't know if it's one of these two. There obviously has to be physical attraction, but physical attraction is completely arbitrary to the person in the relationship.
No, these are not focused on physical at all.
Okay. Like if you don't find someone physically attractive, none of the other stuff matters.
That's true.
But women will get to know somebody and see that they've got these things in spades, and all of a sudden start to find them attractive.
Yep.
Much more than I think the converse of men finding it in women.
Yep.
Don Tracy, candidate for Senate in the state of Illinois, next.
You know the feeling. It's 2 a.m. You're awake, running the numbers in your head. Payroll's coming. A client hasn't paid. Costs just went up. And you're thinking, how am I going to make this work? That's where LendSeek comes in.
That was me. I had payroll in 3 days and money tied up in receivables. I couldn't wait weeks for a bank. I went to LendSeek, and within minutes, I saw real funding options. They were clear, upfront, no games. By the next day, the money was in my account, payroll went out, crisis over.
LendSeek uses AI to match your business with the right funding, up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours.
With LendSeek, it's not just funding, it's knowing you're covered when things get tight.
If you've been in business for at least 1 year with at least $500,000 annual revenue, apply today. No upfront costs, no prepaid penalties, because in business, waiting isn't an option. Start ready, stay ready with LendSeek. Apply at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
So let's talk about Home Shield Foundation Repairs.com is the website. Your basement is seeing that water leak into it. Maybe it's just a little bit. Maybe you've noticed over the last 6 months or so, we've got some of those gully washer rains and it's making its way into your basement a little bit more than it used to. That's just going to get worse. And you got to fix it. I understand if you're like, gosh, if I call him and I talk to him, then I feel like I actually have to do it. So maybe you're kind of like pretending it's not happening, but you know it's happening, holding your breath when you see the forecast. Matt Hayes is a great guy. And if you have him come to your house, you'll be able to be provided with the information you need to actually solve the problem, but you're not on the hook for anything. It's just information. And if you want to call somebody who's a really great guy first and foremost, but really fantastic at their job with the best team in the business, Home Shield Foundation Repair wants to come look at your basement, tell you what you need to know, and earn your business, which is what I appreciate about Matt Hayes so much. Call him at 314-271-9900. You can even ask about 2 years, 0% financing, HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
For state senate, I like Mike. Mike Deering knows what a hard day's work looks like because he's done it his whole life.
I like Mike. He's a dad. He knows what our families are up against.
Mike Deering's a businessman. He knows what red tape actually costs.
I like Mike because Mike Deering stands with President Trump. Secure the border, cut our taxes, put Missouri first.
I'm Mike Deering. Career politicians spend more and tax more while your family gets squeezed. I'll lower your taxes, keep your money in your pockets, and cut government waste so deep it'll make the politicians squeal.
Mike Deering, farmer, small business owner, dad, conservative. I like Mike.
I like Mike.
I like Mike. For state senate, I like Mike. Mike Deering. On Tuesday, August 4th, vote Republican Mike Deering for state senate.
Make common sense conservative leadership common again.
Paid for by friends of Mike Deering. Megan Kaiser, treasurer.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
There are indications the war with Iran could escalate in the coming days.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. As the Wall Street Journal reports, the U.S. military is surging equipment, medics, and special forces to the region, giving President Trump more options.
This does follow the 12th straight night of U.S. strikes against Iran. They have expanded the target list, not just going after positions near to the Strait of Hormuz, but also deeper inside of Iranian territory. According to CENTCOM, the recent strikes have focused on degrading Iran's ability to threaten vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. Remember, President Trump on Wednesday warned Iran directly, saying the United States would target one bridge or power plant anytime Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait.
The president also warning the Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen that both they and Iran will face more punishment if more ships are attacked in another critical waterway. Iran remains publicly defiant, making counter threats. The Secret Service says a member of the vice president's security detail is being investigated over allegations tied to a suspected news leak, with a criminal probe not being ruled out. This follows a recent report that some agents had privately expressed frustration over last-minute travel requests from Vice President Vance and his family. Sentencing day for the man who attacked state lawmakers and their spouses in Minnesota, killing 2 people.
Vance Belter sentenced to 2 life terms plus 40 years in prison in the 2025 killings of Minnesota State Rep Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark at their Twin Cities home, and the shootings of State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette at their home in a string of attacks that targeted other lawmakers. He pled guilty in a deal to avoid the death penalty. In one of many victim impact statements, Senator Hoffman saying, "He looked me in the eyes and pulled the trigger. He looked at my wife and pulled the trigger again. Deliberate decisions to end our lives."
Fox's Jeff Manasso. America is listening to Fox News.
Point. Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at Metamucil.com.
You're still glowing.
flirting, grooving. You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Our weather's delightful for evening plans. Temperatures in the 70s, low humidity, partly cloudy skies, and we'll dip down to 62. Thursday, sunny and nice, spectacular again. 82 for the high, easy to take. Some clouds moving in. Thursday night, 66. Friday is unsettled, changeable sky with a mix of clouds and sunshine. Expect scattered thunderstorms anytime near 80. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey everyone, it's Juliana, and I'm here in Collinsville, Illinois. You know, for the past 7.5 years, it has been my honor to represent all of Illinois, and now I want to fight for every corner of our state in the United States Senate. I want to fight to raise wages, to secure Medicare for all, and to get corporate PAC money out of politics. Join the fight today at julianastratton.com.
So there you have an ad right here across the river in our neck of the woods in the southwestern part of the state of Illinois for Juliana Stratton. She's Lieutenant Governor of the state of Illinois, right in there with J.B. Pritzker, kind of the handpicked candidate for the Democrat nomination for Dick Durbin's seat for Senate. And she is advocating for those things. But if you listen to her ads that she runs, certainly in the Chicago area, her number one goal, should she go to Washington, D.C., is to stop Donald Trump. So I don't know how Juliana Stratton's going to do that more than Dick Durbin is going to do that. But I do know that stopping Donald Trump is the opposite of what I want to see from the person representing me in the United States Senate from the state of Illinois. Let's talk to the Republican candidate for the United States Senate in Illinois, Don Tracy, who joins us once again. He's, of course, a senior counsel at Brown, Hay, and Stevens. You can follow him on X at Don Tracy, Tracy for Illinois, for IL, and also online at DonTracyForIL.com. Welcome back to the show. It's great to have you with us, Don. Looking forward to talking
Always
to you.
good to see you, Annie, and be on your show.
About the campaign. You're a Republican running for Senate in the state of Illinois, but you're up for the fight. Talk to me about the campaign so far.
Well, first of all, we won the primary. I had, it was a crowded field. I had 5 opponents on the ballot, and I won every county in Illinois except for 4 tiny counties in southeastern Illinois with a combined population of less than 50,000. So that means I won Cook County. I won all of the collar counties, and I think that comfortably. And I won Cook County, even though I think 3 or 4, maybe 4 of my opponents were from Cook County. 4 of them were. And so I think that means I'm not a regional. Unlike my opponent, I am not a career politician, and I am not a regional candidate. And I'm from downstate, but I have a Chicago is more or less a second home. I have a condo up there. And I've spent a lot of time in Chicago over the last several decades, first as a lawyer, litigating at the Daly Center in downtown Chicago, and doing, working with bar associations and the Illinois Secretary of State. And then as gaming board chair, I had an apartment in River North. And then I've been staying in a condo for the last almost 5 or 6 years now when I was a state party chairman and now as a candidate.
So, Don Tracy speaking with us right now, the Republican candidate for Senate in Illinois. Illinoisans, you do have the opportunity to send a Republican to the United States Senate come this midterm election. There have to be some things that, yes, the Republicans in the heartland of Southern Illinois and those in the deepest parts of the city of Chicago, there have to be issues that they agree on. But also, Don, there have to be issues that people on the left in the state of Illinois are absolutely sick of the representation in state government and our federal government that the Democrats have to offer. Are there any unifying issues that bring all of those common sense people together that would lend to support for your campaign?
Well, I think so. I think the march to socialism, led by the Democrat socialist and people like my opponent, Lieutenant Governor Stratton, has got to scare the many common sense swing voters and even Democrats out there. I mean, it looks like from the recent primaries that the socialists are taking over the Democrat Party with some of their crazy extreme ideas, many of which, perhaps most of which, are supported by my opponent. And I like to illustrate this to really understand just how different they are with some of these ideas. I did a chart, we versus they. Because, I talk about defending the American dream. That's why I'm running, because I've lived and experienced it, and I want everybody to enjoy and experience their own American dream. But but that American dream under socialism is a lot different. And the left does talk about an American dream, but their American dream seems to be socialism versus free enterprise. But to illustrate it, I did a little chart, and it's like we're rational environmentalists. They're extreme environmentalists. We believe in energy dominance. They believe in the Green New Deal. We believe in equal opportunity. They believe in equal outcomes. We believe in legal immigration. They believe in open borders. We believe in law and order. They believe in social justice, whatever that means. But that for sure seems to include, for some of them, defunding the police. We think that fathers are important and help make strong, healthy families. They think fathers are expendable and can be replaced by the nanny state, the nanny welfare state. We believe in rewarding success. They want to redistribute success. We think that education should be for training people to graduate, learn the basics, and be employable as, teachers, scientists, engineers, business people, farmers, productive citizens. They think education is for political indoctrination and training political activists. So I could go on, but I mean, that's just a few of the many differences between I guess what we believe as, rational, reasonable, keep it simple people and the complicated left.
Yeah. Gosh, all the things that you're listing here are not things for Republicans. They're things for people. They're things for families and for kids and for, taxpayers, for business owners. And that stretches from the north to the south, the east to the west of the state of Illinois, is this understanding that government has done in the state of Illinois a lot of getting in the way of prosperity, and at every nook and cranny of the state of Illinois, it seems as though the Democrats have got a stranglehold. I think that Illinoisans are looking for an alternative. And Don Tracy, you're out there, you're trying to make sure that people understand your name and know that you are an option out there for people to consider some different leadership. I do think that people have a big issue with Illinois elections and Illinois politics and the corruption of the way the state has existed politically for quite some time. You've been up close and personal to it. What can you tell us about how confident you are in the way that elections have been handled in the state of Illinois and the way corruption has been participated in by those elected officials in the state of Illinois?
Well, I just want to start by doing another we versus they. We believe that when you vote, which is a very precious and privileged thing to do, people have died for the right to vote. You should have to prove your identity. And we don't think that's too much to ask someone to get an official photo ID in order to prove their identity. It's a very small sacrifice to go down and get it. Most people have driver's license. Most people already have this. For the few people that don't, the state can issue a free official ID. We also think that because even Democrats agree citizens are not allowed to vote, you should have to prove citizenship in order to register to vote, not to vote every time, just one-time registration, or if you decide to change your registration. That's not a big burden. People died for the right to vote.
It should be protected. It should be fortified.
It's just crazy that they oppose this. And, it shouldn't be that hard to have clean voter rolls. When people die, they should be taken off the voter rolls. But some of these clerks in blue counties, they think, oh, it is so hard to do that. You talk to downstate county clerks, and they, when they see an obituary, they take people off the voter roll. It's not, it's a simple thing to do. It's not that complicated. But, so you have to think maybe people just don't want, clean voter rolls. When I was state chair, I appointed the first election integrity director, I think, in the history of the Illinois Republican Party. And they've been working at that. And then I also appointed the first committee. So we are, it's sad that you have to have that, but we do have better election integrity than we've had. And it's going to be better this election. With the Justice Department out there looking around for shenanigans and that sort of thing. It just seems like we should agree that, free, fair, and honest elections ought to be the goal of everybody. But there are some people that want to put their thumb on the scales by, taking some shortcuts and ballot harvesting. Ballot harvesting, it is the law in Illinois. Unfortunately, I've been told. But do we really want armies of paid people going door to door collecting live ballots? I don't think that's the way to go. But anyway, we can't change the rules until we win.
Yeah.
And so I'm focused on winning this election, and then we can address things like voter ID in Illinois.
So we're speaking with Don Tracy. He's the Republican candidate for United States Senate in Illinois. Don Tracy, Tracy for IL.com. To learn more about him, to support his campaign, I encourage you to do so. Don's a great guy, and I appreciated being able to know you for a long time. And it would be just enormous. It would be enormous if you were able to make it to the United States Senate. For people who are listening right now who are dismayed by the state of elections, the outcomes of elections, maybe they were, in supporting somebody else in the primary, whatever it might be. For people who are wanting dramatic change in the state of Illinois, but maybe a little dismayed, what is your message to them today, right now, about what they can do?
Well, I would, we need change, obviously. But the most important change is this: we need to make this a two-party state again, start making it a two-party state, because a two-party state is a less corrupt state. There are more checks and balances. You have less extreme legislation, like the Safety Act. It's already been amended a couple of times. It's going to have to be amended again. It's basically overshot their mark. They were addressing a real issue. Poor people were in jail for same offense as maybe a rich person could bail themselves out of. That could have been fixed with Republican votes without going to the extreme measures they did, that basically let loose career criminals to roam the streets of Chicago in particular and terrorize people on the on the trains. So, we need to start electing Republicans statewide again, but it takes Republicans showing up.
Yes.
There's too many Republicans that have given up in Illinois. They got to get out to vote. It's midterm. A lot of people don't vote in the midterm. People need to be more aware. Tell your friends and your family, remind them to vote, because it's a numbers game. There's enough Republicans and conservatives and reasonable swing voters and reasonable Democrats to make this a two-party state again, but they have to vote.
Yeah. Amen to that. Well, Don Tracy, we're grateful for your time here on our show this afternoon. Stay in touch. We're watching as we get a little bit closer to the midterms here, how a lot of these races are shaping up. And I know you're fighting very hard for the people of Illinois. Want to encourage you to continue to do that. Give people in the state of Illinois a little hope that something might change.
We're fighting hard. We had a great team for the primary. That's why we won it in part. We've doubled that team now. We were raising money that we need to raise more money. We got some ads coming out very, very shortly. And so we're in this to win.
Amen to that. Don Tracy, Tracy, Don Tracy for IL.com. For folks who want to maybe contact you, get to know you a little bit more, and support your campaign, we look forward to having you back, Don. Thanks for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you, Annie.
Take care.
Appreciate the opportunity to speak to you and your audience.
We'll do it again soon. All right.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Let's take a quick break here. I think that the issues facing Illinois voters, much like the issues facing the rest of the country, Don Tracy, they're trying to advocate for smarter, better government in the United States Senate. A Dick Durbin seat going Republican would be shockwave type of stuff, and you could be a part of that. Get involved. What is your biggest concern going into the midterm election on the whole? Affordability, the Iran conflict, election integrity, or socialism? Your votes on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, your text reactions at 314-241-9797 on the Annie Frey Show text line. Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg in 10-15 minutes from right now, so keep it right here. We'll get his reaction to the latest developments in the Iran conflict and more from you next on the Annie Frey Show.
State spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC. Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
When it comes to hiring a contractor, you need somebody you can trust. It's Mark Cox, and I want to tell you about my friend Curtis Carrell of the Carrell Roofing Company. Curtis fixed my roof. It was after a major hailstorm. He came the same day, got up, inspected it, and from start to finish, from having the adjuster out, pointing out what he thought was wrong, all the way until it was done. It was a fantastic experience. And that's not just my experience. I have coworkers here at the radio station who've also used Carrell Roofing Company, and a lot of my listeners have taken my advice, and I thank you for that. Curtis goes the extra mile. He just sent his crews out to Kansas City. They got additional training on working with insurance adjusters, making them more likely to get approval on your case. If you've been denied, call Carrell Roofing Company and get Curtis on the case. He's going to do a good job for you. More than 20 years of experience in the roofing industry, and you can take that to the bank. Call him at 314-222-9529 or CarrellRoofingCo.com.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
Overnight, Iran launched new attacks against U.S. bases in both Kuwait and Bahrain. Secretary of State Marco Rubio indicated that Iran will continue to pay a heavy price for these actions and threats against the strait.
Their foreign minister, who the other day say or something about their policy is an eye for an eye. The president's policy is a head for an eye. I mean, honestly, that's what it's going to be. I mean, they will pay a very heavy price. These people who are calling us every day, begging, let's do a deal, they send us messages through other countries, third countries.
So when you listen to Secretary of State Marco Rubio talking about policy, I just feel like he's been the steady freight train through this whole thing. President Trump has to be, he's the elected person to make all the decisions. And then he's got to appoint people around him, of course, in his cabinet that help him make sound decisions on policies that are bigger than any decision that we will probably ever make in our life. However, I feel like Marco Rubio has, again, I'm a big fan, and I've been a fan since the 2016 primary. He was my horse in that race. I feel like Marco Rubio is the one who understands the situation for what it actually is, not what he wishes it could be. And I think that we've heard specifically from Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, who's going to be with us in 7 minutes right now, that you can't will Iran to listen to reason. When we're looking at this, we're like, come on, guys. The olive branch, the olive grove of trees has been offered to you here. And you've got the most beautifully paved in gold off-ramp to participating in civilization that Donald Trump has offered you, and you can't get out of your own way. And it's like, Rubio's like, we should publicly wear out this theory that there is a rational, normal way of going about business with Iran, because it ain't going to work. But if we don't try it and squeeze that lemon as much as we possibly can until it's absolutely dry, then we're not going to be able to do what we actually have to do. And it feels like we're where we have to be.
What's crazy about Iran is that there is another faction of people inside that country that do not want to do what the leadership is doing. It's just a matter of if they will ever be powerful enough, or there's ever that tipping point moment where they could actually take power. Because we talked about it before, how there were uprisings happening before we started this campaign. And we thought, at least I did, and I think the administration did, that faction would use this opportunity to take power. I still hope that happens. Maybe this next level that Trump's talking about doing right now, at some point, maybe that's going to be enough to get somebody else in charge. Because until somebody else of a different mindset is in charge, nothing's going to change.
I think that this is, I feel like the shift into it being super much so a hot war is scary and intimidating. One of the questions that I asked, was it Jim Carafano? I don't know if, no, I think it was Coates with the Heritage Foundation. I am worried that somebody else joins the conflict on the other side and completely transforms where we're headed with this. So what is China doing? What is Russia doing? Venezuela, off the table, because we pre-gamed the situation in Venezuela. The Maduro thing seemed to be so, I know it wasn't easy, but so well planned and well executed that maybe it was so good that they thought that this is just how, we're just that good. And I don't know that we're not that good, but maybe this is just that hard.
It's different too.
So, if you've got a Russia, China, I don't know, North Korea or something, you're just people who are not reality dwellers the way the rest of the world is. If somebody else gets involved in this, then the whole game is changed. I just keep going back to when I was having this conversation with my husband about the Revolutionary War and George Washington, and how George Washington got his butt kicked in one of the initial battles. And then he learned so much from that he said, we're not going to win this thing. We're just refusing to lose. And I said to him, but how do you, you can't just refuse to lose. Eventually you get beat. I was like, did Britain not take us seriously? He's like, no, they completely didn't take us seriously. And then it just got so annoying that they were like, whatever. Why are we even engaged? Fine, whatever. But we were so resilient in our refusal to go away and to die that if Britain would have taken us seriously with the King's Army, we would not be here today the way we are. And it's not the same thing. I am not a historian. I am not a war gamist. I don't know how to articulate the intricacies of one conflict and compare it to another. But I don't want the United States to not take Iran seriously because we've decimated them and we've blown up all their stuff. And then what does Iran do? They just refuse to lose. You want to give them a week of diplomacy and discussion? Yeah, we'll take a week. Nothing's going to change in a week, but it's one more week that we didn't lose. We're not going to win against America, but we are refusing to lose. It kind of seems like that's the Iran play here. They just don't go away. What's it going to cost them more lives? They don't give a crap. They don't care. You're going to blow some more stuff up? If their religious zealotry is still what they cling to with each dying person and blown up bridge, as long as there's someone to cling to it, they'll still cling to it.
Yeah, and that has worked with every other president, and maybe it will with this one too. But I just don't see Donald Trump giving up the way any other president has. And that is their strategy. That is always their strategy. That continues to now be their strategy. And Trump knows that, and he is not playing into it. He's trying to work something out because he's giving them that opportunity, but he's also not letting off the gas pedal, and that's the important part.
Well, let's take a quick break here. When we rejoin with you in just a few moments, Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg will be here. He's the co-chair of American Security at the America First Policy Institute. Of course, he served as the former assistant to the president of the United States and special presidential envoy to Ukraine for Ukraine. General Kellogg on the Annie Frey Show next. Todd Sivia of Sivia Law. Of course, I'm recommending Todd Sivia to you for your estate plan needs, for any sort of, just like if you want a refresher of your current estate plan, if you've never done it before, either anywhere in that spectrum as well. Todd Sivia is so highly recommended by me, by other attorneys that I know for other issues. Todd is such a reliable, knowledgeable expert when it comes to the areas of law that he practices. So I'm going to talk to you specifically about your estate planning needs, getting a trust established, even the most basic. I don't care how old you are, you need a power of attorney. If you are somebody who is 18 and going on to college right now, you want to give them a great going away gift. Give them the legal documents, cover the cost for them to get those powers of attorney established so that if something happens, you have the ability to help them make those medical decisions that they might need, help with their finances. You have to get it legally in line, and Todd Sivia is an expert at this. So great to work with, and also in Missouri and Illinois alike. Call Todd Sivia, 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL. Be one of the first 10 callers right now to that number. You're going to get a free strategy session, a $300 value, when you mention the Annie Frey Show and book that appointment. 833-995-WILL, CiviaLaw.com.
License number GL250000615.
You're cooking dinner. The lights go out. You flip the breaker and forget about it.
But what if it keeps tripping?
Trips once, your breaker's doing its job. Keeps tripping? That's a warning. Bad wiring or something worse.
Do people just keep flipping it?
Most do, until they can't anymore.
Call Grasser. We'll stop the trip.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit Pfizerforall.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you like that comfortable setting to hang out where people know your name, check out Lit Cigar Lounge. My friends at Lit Cigar Lounge are fantastic. Brian and Dana and Andrew and Charlie and Nick and all of them down there are going to get to know you by name because it is a family-run business in the Chesterfield Valley in the district. They've got an extensive selection of bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails and some of the best hand-rolled cigars from around the world. Check them out at the district or go online to litstl.com.
The YouTube live chat poll today is about your concern going into the midterm election. We've given you 4 options here. What's the biggest concern that you have? Is it affordability? Is it Iran? Is it election integrity? Or is it socialism? We've made it very difficult for you on purpose, and then you have to pick among those. So let us know. That's the YouTube live chat poll. It is 1:32. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
250 years of capitalism, private ownership, and rugged individuals.
Administration has announced that the president has officially agreed to, just signed off on a nuclear agreement with Saudi Arabia. This would allow the kingdom to build a civilian nuclear facility for energy. The catch here is that American companies will be a part of building this out, which would mean billions of dollars in profits for American companies. It has to be approved by Congress first, where undoubtedly lawmakers will raise concerns about whether this could open the door to potentially other countries gaining access down the road to nuclear weapons.
That's Aisha Hasni with Fox News reporting on the dealings that this president is making in these areas surrounding Iran, working with different countries that are certainly an important part of winning this war against Iran. But you have absolutely seen in the last few days, the president's attitude towards Iran has become much more fire-based. He has participated in ramping up the rhetoric around it and, of course, the bombing as well. The loss of life that has occurred here from those Americans who gave their lives in the efforts to follow their commander-in-chief and to try to denuclearize Iran. The president is taking this very seriously. The question we have for our next guest is this the right move? Let's talk to Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, co-chair of American Security at America First Policy Institute, and also the former assistant to the president and special presidential envoy for Ukraine. General Kellogg, thank you for the time today. It's good to have you back.
Thanks, Annie. It's good to be with you. Good to talk you through this.
I want to just give you the floor here because I know that you've been saying the diplomacy, the discussions with Iran, it's all nice and fun and good, but it's not going to get the job done. How do you feel about the president's current position towards Iran?
Well, look, he's done the right thing in the sense of trying to attack the nuclear problem he's got on their enriching uranium. He's right there. But this kind of is expanded out a little bit. And I think you need to really think of basically a different way of doing what you're doing right now and convince them to basically change. And one of the things is right now I wouldn't negotiate with them. I'd say, I'm talking to you guys. I'm just done with it. Because their foreign minister, Rachi, has written a book on negotiation. It's called The Power of Diplomacy. And he kind of knows that time is on his side. I think the president just needs to say, nope, we're not going to put a timetable on this. It's going to take forever to do this if necessary. We're just going to do it in a week, whatever it's going to take to do it. The second thing is I think this whole issue of decapitation is really good. What I mean by that is taking out their senior leadership. You should make them afraid to even go outside at any time of the day. So I think that's good. The third one, and I've said it, is taking land like Kellogg Island, Iraq Island. And why do I say that? It's not because you want to put troops on the ground, which I think is important, but what you do is you create leverage for the president of the United States to do something by taking something they own. Now, I know there's risk to that, and you're putting troops probably in contact, but you're not invading Iran. I'm not advocating that at all. But I am advocating something like taking something strategic like Kellogg Island, which is 90% of their economy, and Iraq Island, which is a command and control facility. We can do that. We have the capability to do it, and probably we should at least think through that as well. The other thing we need to do, which we haven't done, is we need to think about the Iranians and how they overthrow this government internally. It's going to be their job to do something, but they're really unarmed right now. And maybe we can think about arming them or setting up a presidential finding with the agency or doing something that can basically help the Iranians out. When I was in Paris a couple of weeks ago talking to basically a national council that does some of this, you could see what they were doing kind of individually, but they're attacking targets with Molotov cocktails, but it's all disparate. It's not basically a good framework because they're not really organized to do it. And the last thing I do, I think the American people need to hear from the president, basically, here's what I'm doing, and tell him it's going to take more than a day or two to get all this done. But the end state is designed to be for our grandkids and our kids, not for this generation, but for the future. And I think if he does those type of things, I think he's going to be okay. Right now, you kind of talk about, well, people are against it. Well, there's about 30% that are 40% that are against it. But there's at least 30% of this nation who I'm absolutely convinced think the sun rises on the west instead of the east.
Yeah.
And that's just part of it, and you have to deal with that. And understand that and cut them off and how you cut them off is you go to the American people and say, here's what I'm doing, here's why it's important, and explain it to them. But you're always going to have your doubters, and I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah.
You just have to deal with it.
General Kellogg speaking with us right now, the co-chair of American Security at America First Policy Institute. I'm constantly, I don't know what you know, certainly, General. I just sit here in the middle of the country and I hope for the best. I pray for the best. I pray for the president. I pray for our troops, and I want the best outcome here. But it is scary when you don't really, understand at the intricacy level that you do what's going on in the Middle East. It does feel as though that he's reshaping our relationships with the people in the Middle East and maybe even the relationships among those people in the Middle East. Do you still feel as though there is a collective in that area of people? It's like Iran and everyone else. Is there any sort of shifting in those relationships right now that is meaningful for the long term?
Well, for the long term, I think you're absolutely right, because when you get targeted by Iran, be the UAE with the Emiratis or the Saudis, the Kuwaitis, it's going to have long-term effect, and they're going to get kind of said, well, you're not really our friend. And we know that that's kind of happening with those adjacent nations out there. So I think we're building up strength in the Middle East collectively as a group. Look what just happened with Saudi, and you mentioned the nuclear deal. That's going to be Westinghouse. It's going to get the AP1000 reactors, which, by the way, will take 4 years to at least be developed, but it has to go to Congress as well. And then they're going to bend over and work with the Abraham Accords. So that whole thought process of working for the Middle East is good. But as long as you've got a theocratic regime in Iran that chants death to Israel and death to America and supports the Houthis of shooting the ships in the Red Sea, you got a problem. And you got to think through how do you basically, and I know we don't talk about regime change, but how do you help the Iranians get to that point where the vast majority of them don't like this government, and they want to change out the government, because it's the only way it's going to really work. Because right now you've got really hardcore people running the Iranian government. They're not ever going to be satisfied until we're out of the Middle East. And you have to basically take stock of that and say to yourself, well, what do we need to do that's differently? I mean, the game plan is great, but, I got to be very honest with you, Annie. In all my years of studying warfare and in the advent of air power has never won a war by itself. And I think sooner or later you're going to have to do something dramatic. And our men and women are ready for that. But you have to go to the American people and tell them the risk involved. Doesn't mean troops are going to get hurt. Yep, probably are. What do we call that? Oh, it's called a war. Mm-hmm. And once you're in this fight, you better figure out a way to finish it and not go to a negotiated settlement.
Yeah, I think that the concept of boots on the ground is very hard to understand from the outside in. I have also spoken just anecdotally with friends of mine who served in the Great War on Terror, and they say very similar to what you're saying. Like, you've got to do the job right. The worst thing to do here is to get in and not complete it or not do it correctly, oftentimes because the politicians are afraid to do the right thing.
Well, here's what's interesting. Because I was in the first Gulf War, and there was 30 days of sustained bombing because there was a group that said, well, we'll break the Iraqis back by bombing. We were on the berm, across the berm, sitting there, and we went into Iraq, and we went into Kuwait, and within 100 hours, the war was over. Within 48 hours of crossing over the berm into Iraq, I was on the Euphrates River. And the Iraqis realized that. They said, okay, we're done with this. And of course, we all know what happened later in Iraq. But you have to be willing to do something dramatic that changes the equation. And honestly, Annie, right now, I don't think we are.
Well, hopefully that resolve is found and discovered so that we can do it and do it right. And you've been very consistent in your messaging on how this should go from your position. We're always grateful that you give us your a little bit of your afternoon here, and we look forward to the next conversation as this continues.
Thanks, Annie. Good to be with you.
You as well. Thank you so much for the time. Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, always great to speak with the general here, co-chair of American Security at America First Policy Institute, former assistant to the president and special presidential envoy for Ukraine, on X at General Kellogg. We'll take a quick break here, get Ryan back in the studio for the second part of Wiggins America. When we return, he's telling us the 5 things women actually find attractive. And I'm going to tell you, the first 3 that he delivered to us about an hour ago, he was 3 for 3. He said the last 2, maybe a little bit not as obvious as those first 3. 5 things women actually find attractive. Part 2 with Ryan Wiggins next. Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. He is offering on new home purchases, you get that 30-year loan with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. He's offering 2 things that are incredible at the same time, so you get to use them both. The first one is the Bagel Loan. No closing costs on that brand new 30-year loan home purchase. You don't have any closing costs at the end. He takes care of them for you. But the second thing is incredible. For the first year of that new 30-year mortgage, he's going to offer you a 1% discount on your interest rate for the first year. Interest rates might come down since then, but you're going to get that 1% lower locked in for that first year when you work with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage and enjoy the no closing costs that comes along with the Bagel Loan. 314-324-4440. Call or text 314-324-4440 and tell Stewie Annie sent you and you'd like to know about a new mortgage. Google the Bagel Loan at MLS number 226715.
Mark Cox here. Don't be fooled by those deceptive ads you're hearing on Missouri Amendments 4 and 5. Get the truth. I'll explain all of the amendments and key local races. Download my August voter guide at 971talk.com.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old-timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your politician's Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, allowing politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people. And the politician's Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside 4 and 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, allowing a minority of the most liberal statewide voters in one district to effectively end our power to stop corruption and out-of-control spending and taxing.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom. 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the politicians' Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for fair governance.
If you've been told that you need a new heating and cooling system for your home, and if you've gotten prices or you're going to get prices, call me. Try to stay away from the word high efficiency or efficiency. If you replace your system now and it's 12, 15, or 20 years old, you are greatly improving the efficiency just by replacing the old, inefficient unit. Do not be fooled. If you want a common sense approach and you just want your house cooled, I will help you. If you're good with that, call me. One easy number. It's Missouri and Illinois. The easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
I think Ethan picked this because of how much of a Vol fan he is. Huge Tennessee fan.
Oh, Vol fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Volunteer.
It took me a second, but I understand.
Big fan of Tennessee Orange, the color and the song.
I don't know anything about that, but it seems facetious when you say it.
I don't know. It's just Ethan's always like Tennessee.
Does he like a different team that is
No.
opposed to Tennessee? Is that why you're doing that?
No, big fan of Tennessee.
Rocky Top, that's not even like an Appalachian thing, though. What's the connection?
Let's talk about things that women actually find attractive.
Oh,
5 things women
okay.
actually find attractive. You've given us the first 3.
The first 3 are being kind, actually, genuinely being kind. Confidence that doesn't need a room to prove it. And making her laugh, but reading the room as you do so.
Rocky Top is the Tennessee Volunteer song, and you made me nervous that I screwed it up.
Is it?
Yes!
Rocky Top? That's
Gosh!
the Rockies. I don't understand what they're doing. The Rockies are not Appalachian.
We're not getting into it, but you made me second guess myself, and I just want everyone to know that I knew and you didn't, and you should go
I
on
still
about
don't.
things that women find attractive in men.
Well, you got to have confidence.
Sports knowledge.
Yeah, no, that's not on here.
No, it was number 6. You scratched it off.
Yeah, because I don't have it. All right, the last 2 of things that women actually
What were
find
the first 3
attractive.
again?
Being kind.
Kind.
Confidence.
Confidence.
Real confidence. And then making her laugh, but reading the room. So knowing how to use comedy, not just being funny.
Just because that was the last one that we did before we had to go to the hard break, but I just feel like guys who are trying to be funny are rarely funny. You laugh because it's true?
It's true. It is true.
There's nothing worse than being around someone who's trying to make jokes. Ryan.
No, it's true. It's true. If you've been in party situations, and I don't really go to like these kind of functions a whole lot anymore, but back when we were single or younger in general and you'd be at a party and the guy who's like soaking up all the energy of the room, who's like, I'm the center of attention.
You know what you call?
Usually not very funny.
You know what you call him? That guy.
Yeah, that's that guy.
It's that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, you know that guy. Not a compliment.
The problem is I probably did this at some parties. So
Sorry, Quick Rick. He says, oh, crap, Annie's calling me out. And not you, Rick. Come on, you're better than that.
What do you mean, Rick? You think you were the center of attention at parties?
Have you guys ever been that guy?
I think I probably have inadvertently, but...
Is that why you quit going to parties?
Yeah.
Does anybody try to be that guy, though?
Well,
it's all about being a tryhard.
Yeah, the guy that does that is trying to be that. If you're genuinely funny and like entertaining, it just happens. But that guy, quote unquote, that guy,
this guy
is trying
really,
to be that guy.
They're that guy.
The reverse happened when I would go to parties. There would be sometimes, especially girls.
You'd sit in the back of the room and you were just so cool you didn't even have to say anything. People were like, oh.
I just wear my sunglasses.
Brooding.
Yeah. There were girls
smoke a clove cigarette
at these parties that would go off because I kid you not. They would go, oh man, I just had a stroke of inspiration. Like they were artists.
Were you doing drugs?
No. I was at parties that were full of artsy people. And they would go, oh, I just had this, the lamest ones. I just had this stroke of inspiration. And like they would need to go off and write at the party.
Oh my gosh.
It's so lame.
It's the worst.
I do not navigate those parties.
Yeah.
Never been.
They were college
Everything
people.
that I was ever at where there was a stroke of inspiration involved more beers.
Yeah.
And usually less clothes.
I went to those too. But
you don't want to be that guy there either.
The artsy parties were very funny because there was a lot of times very socially awkward people at a party.
But in similar company.
Yeah.
So you could be yourself.
Yeah, you could just
be
yourself.
inspired.
Yeah. Anyway.
Being inspired at those parties that I went to was the hold my beer moment. But literally.
When you'd like jump off of something.
I wouldn't.
I know you.
I was there at those parties to instill some responsibility, some designated drives home, and some, I don't know if that's legal. So, good people, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, these are the rest of the things women actually find attractive in men. And the last ones that you haven't heard yet, and these are the ones that I don't know if they'll be tied for first like the other ones were, but having something you're actually working toward.
Goals?
Having goals
like
and
just
life.
goals?
Yeah, life goals. Date draws a line between having a career and actually caring about where it's going. What do you think?
Brad first. Attractive to women.
I don't know. I think that the idea of the goal plays into the idea of security, like even if it's just financial security, but security. So I think probably, but I don't think it's like super, super high.
I don't know that it's just This isn't really about financial security so much.
I think that's at the root of it, though.
This is about having goals, just having something that you are passionate about and working toward.
Maybe the passion side of it.
A sense of purpose is the way that the article
puts it. I guess the
it.
passion side of it is where that's at.
And Annie, before you chime in, it says,
I'm keeping my mouth shut so hard.
A sense of purpose is inspiring for women, especially for those who have a particular life vision and want a partner who can understand their own drive.
Oh.
What, did that just change it?
No.
Okay.
Tied for first.
Tied for first again?
Tied for first.
Dang.
They have to have a purpose that exists outside of you.
Yeah.
You do not need to be the muse, the inspiration for No, if you're looking for somebody who wants to be a partner with you in life, it can't always be about her, in the sense that they have to have goals and dreams that take the sum of the two and move it further down the field. It can't just be always about how she feels or what she wants. Like, you have to be a co-owner in the relationship, and you have to have a goal that if that person weren't there, it wouldn't get done. It can't just be, because that otherwise it puts the whole burden of the goal and the motivation on her. The drive is on her. You can't be a deferential person. I was going to say a deferrer.
Oh, you could have.
That sounds like Führer. Can't be that either. Graham Plattner looking at you. I just think you have to be your own entity, kind of like someone who has like your own gravitational pull that she can be attracted to, where you don't lay everything out where it's just like, whatever you want, honey. That sounds like men think that that's what she wants. That's just not what she wants.
Do you think there are some women who do want that?
I think they do. But then you get in a relationship where they don't have any autonomous nature to themselves, and everything is about like making her happy, and then that's too much of a burden for her to bear.
The last one.
What? Why are you furrowing your brow, Brad?
A person making you happy is too much of a burden for you to bear.
No, it's not an either or. It's not like I don't want him to make me happy. It's like you got to have your own drive, your own goals, your own purpose, because otherwise, if your only purpose in life is to make her happy, then she has to be made to be happy all the time.
Right. I still don't follow.
Do you get it? You don't understand what I'm saying, right?
I do, and I would liken it to where you focus your eyes. Are your eyes focused on her as all your goals, all of your purpose is focused on her, or are they focused on something else? We would say probably that's God and the purpose God has for your life. The woman doesn't want to bear that role of being that focus. I think that's the way I look at this. Does that make sense?
Well, I understand what you're saying there. I just don't understand what Annie, if that's what you're trying to say.
What did I say that you disagree with? Maybe then I can counter that.
That somebody trying to make you as a woman happy and making sure that you're happy is too much of a burden for you to bear.
If that's his purpose, he needs.
That's the key. Is it that the person's purpose in life is to make you happy?
But isn't that his burden and not yours?
I mean, it is if it doesn't make me happy. I mean, what is the point that was made? The fourth thing that women find attractive in men is, read it again,
is having a sense of purpose.
Yes. And the point here is that if a man has his own individual identity where he has dreams and goals that exist outside of whether she is happy or not, then he's going to move that relationship further. And if all he's doing is like, I just want her to be happy. Like if you're willing to do whatever, if you have no standards or no foundational elements that drive where you're going and what you're wanting to do, and it only is up to her to be happy, to make you feel fulfilled, she wants more than that. That's not enough for her.
And she's not capable of doing that.
Does that help?
I guess. I don't know. I just don't think like that.
Sounds like a no. We can talk more because there's still another one, right?
There's still one more.
When we come back here on the Annie Frey Show, text us your thoughts, 314-241-9797. Go Vols! Yeah!
If you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I want to talk to you about Greg Hammonds at greghammonds.com. There are 3 good reasons you should talk with Greg. 1, your health insurance premium is too high. Well, Greg saves most people 30 to 60% on their monthly premiums. 2, your deductible is too high. Well, with most of Greg's plans, you will have no deductible or out-of-pocket expenses. 3, your doctor doesn't take your plan. Well, you can use Greg's plan at most any doctor or hospital in the country. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive. Call Greg, an expert with over 40 years' experience, at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. Greg will customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government. Because you don't know what you don't know about your health insurance coverage.
Have you heard those ads claiming Amendment 4 stops conservative amendments?
That's not true. It actually stops a couple big cities from pushing radical ideas into our Constitution. Remember 2024? Only 8 out of 114 counties voted to allow transgender surgeries on children.
That's terrifying. We can't let just a handful of counties rule the whole state.
Exactly. Amendment 4 requires broad statewide support and keeps foreign money out of our elections. Vote yes on 4 this August 4th.
You convinced me. I'm voting yes too.
Paid for by Freedom Principle MO, Missouri First PAC, Kate Sickles, Treasurer.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. You know your trees can't talk, but if they could, they'd be calling me. From trimming to treatments, we'll make your trees the healthiest and happiest on the block. Call us before your trees start giving you the silent treatment. Check us out at hansenstree.com.
As retirement gets closer, the wrong amount of risk can become a much bigger problem. You can listen to the Financial Safari with local trusted advisor Greg Belger, Saturdays at 1 p.m. right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Fox News.
We're doing very well against the Islamic Republic of Iran. We're doing extremely well.
President Trump insisting again that Iran wants to make a deal, but he says they're not ready yet, adding they have evil intentions and can't be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. This as Iran keeps attacking Gulf neighbors and commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz, despite U.S. warnings that even more strikes are coming if they don't stop.
President Trump has also indicated a new warning is being issued to the Houthis in Yemen. He says that if Houthi forces attack additional vessels, that both Iran and the Houthis would face major military punishment. The warning comes after 2 Saudi-owned oil tankers were targeted by the Yemeni proxy group.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. The Wall Street Journal reporting the U.S. military is surging more assets to the region, including special forces and medics, to give the president more options. The president's latest comments on Iran coming a short time ago at EPA headquarters, where he announced a pledge from utilities and others not to let development of AI data centers impact consumers' electric bills.
It's hard to believe, but you need double the electricity that we have right now, maybe even more than that, to really fulfill what you want to do. We're leading China by a lot. And using our old grid would not have worked.
He says data centers and big tech companies are paying their own way and that leftover electricity will be put into the grid. Concern about the costs and energy use have been fueling pushback on data centers across the country. In some areas, efforts to block or pause development as well. In Minnesota, the man convicted of killing a state lawmaker and her husband, critically wounding another lawmaker and his wife last year, is sentenced. Vance Belter gets 2 life terms plus 40 years in prison after pleading guilty to avoid the death penalty. America is listening to Fox News.
Point! Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Our weather's delightful for evening plans. Temperatures in the 70s, low humidity, partly cloudy skies, and we'll dip down to 62. Thursday, sunny and nice. Spectacular again. 82 for the high, easy to take. Some clouds moving in. Thursday night, 66. Friday is unsettled. Changeable sky with a mix of clouds and sunshine. Expect scattered thunderstorms anytime near 80. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The White House's stance is that the government needs to be funded. This president and Republicans on Capitol Hill from both chambers, as you just mentioned, the House and the Senate Republicans want to keep the government open. We want to work together to find ways to do that, and the White House will continue to have discussions with Senate leadership on the best path forward. I don't want to get ahead of those conversations, but the most important thing for the American people to know is that this president and this White House wants the government to remain open, unlike the Democrats in this town who have been acting as obstructionists. We've seen time and time again, they have chosen to block this administration, to block Republicans in Congress from keeping our government open, which does not help anyone, and it especially hurts the American people who depend on our government remaining open so they can access the critical services that our government provides to so many Americans across the country. So these conversations are continuing, but I think I just made the president's position quite clear.
So Carolyn Levitt from the podium today at the White House press briefing talking about how there is a government shutdown looming. We just got done with this, man. It's like, give us some time in between government shutdown seasons to kind of, really want the next one. I don't know if we've been given that amount of time yet.
I would love government shutdowns if we didn't have to pay them when they came back.
You like government shutdowns. You don't like government reopening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big difference, huh? Here is more from Carolyn Levitt today at the press briefing.
The most important thing for the American people to know is that this president and this White House wants the government to remain open, unlike the Democrats in this town who have been acting as obstructionists. We've seen time and time again, they have chosen to block this administration, to block Republicans in Congress from keeping our government open, which does not help anyone, and it especially hurts the American people who depend on our government remaining open so they can access the critical services that our government provides to so many Americans across the country. So these conversations are continuing, but I think I just made the president.
So that was the same clip as the last one that I just played there. Sorry about that. I thought she was going to be talking about how the Save America Act is the passage. Let's see, President Trump wants to see as much of the Save America Act pass as possible by the August recess. And I think we want to see that too. Get it done. Get the job done. Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg is over your shoulder on the TV right now.
Oh, look at that. You think he was calling you from the TV studio?
Probably. When he was with us in the last hour, we had to have out by 1:45 so that he could do TV. And there he be, talking about the same stuff he was talking to us about. I mean, will they get the Save America Act passed? I think maybe. I think that it's possible that they will. I know that they were able to get the big, beautiful bill passed, and nobody thought that was possible. Trump gave him a deadline. He made it happen. Will it happen here? I don't know. He might have to trade some unsavory things that he didn't want to trade with those senators that are not so favorable to him. We'll see.
I am shocked that somebody like Lisa Murkowski wouldn't get on board with this just to show her conservative bona fides once in a while. Like you have to at some point show the people that elected you to be a conservative that you're a conservative. Otherwise, what is the point of you being there? She drives me nuts more than anybody. Murkowski.
She is in Alaska where they got really weird laws.
Well, they keep changing them too, and that's benefited her.
Well, let's get back to the conversation we were having before. We were talking about in Wiggins America 5 things women actually find attractive. You said there was still one more, but I'd like to reset the table for our listeners who might be joining us right now. The last one that we had, number 4, was, read it from the sheet again so I don't.
Have something you're actually working toward, having a sense of purpose.
A little addition to this. This is like when you become a man. And if you don't have, I mean, listen, my son is 16. I'm always talking to him about, well, there are things that boys do and there are things that young men do. Boys wear their haircuts because that's what the other boys are doing. Young men wear their hair for ladies. You want to look your very best? Don't look like an alpaca.
Yeah, but what if alpaca's cool right now?
What if that's
well, exactly?
Yeah.
Well, they don't. I'm just telling you that right now. They don't, and neither do their mothers. That have you seen that like floppy, curly, like?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And alpaca's the perfect description.
I didn't come up with it. That's fine.
Yeah, it's very popular.
Who's in charge? Your oldest son is 12?
Yes.
Who's in charge of your son's haircut? Who gets to pick that?
Patrick Mahomes.
Cool. Love the faux hawk, little perm.
Because he's the originator of that style, isn't he? The Patrick Mahomes is what they called it originally.
No.
Who's in charge of my son's hair? I would say my wife.
She goes and says, I want you to do this, and it gets done.
Yeah, because he doesn't care at all at this stage. Now, maybe that'll change in a couple years, but right now, he didn't give a rip.
Do you recall a time in your life where you took charge of your haircut?
Yeah, I was 15.
What happened?
I got a skater cut.
What, part down the middle and to the side?
Yeah.
Flat?
And it was shaved up underneath.
Shaved underneath.
There's a picture somewhere.
Oh,
it's
everybody,
bad.
y'all were there.
It's bad. I was a sophomore. I know that. And
Late 90s?
Yeah. It was disgusting, but it was cool.
Do you have a recollection at all of talking with your mom specifically, but maybe your dad was like, son?
And he didn't really care. I think my mom was actually, I was so out of the loop on that kind of stuff that I think she was, I don't want to say encouraging me to do it, but fine with me doing whatever.
Not interfering.
Not at all.
Did your mom pick your haircut because somebody had to?
Up until then, yes.
That was the point where you're like, I got this one.
Yeah.
That's
what I did.
Your first decision, impeccable.
Look,
taste.
I guarantee you, I don't even know if this is true, but I can guarantee you that 90% of guys go through a season of life, whether that's when they're 13 or when they're 22, somewhere between there, where they grow their hair out a little longer than they've ever had it before. And usually it's fairly long.
My husband did that specifically because people were telling him to get his haircut.
See? Your husband did it.
His autonomy in his haircut was a non-haircut.
Brad, did you ever do that?
No.
You never grew your hair out?
I hated, and I still hate when my hair touches my ears. So what I ended up
just cut it around your ears.
Oh, man.
Just that part.
Have I got stories about that from the school that I don't have? Your hair can't touch your ears. These boys would grow their big floppy haircuts and then just have the barber cut their ears out.
I mean,
It's like,
honestly,
it's not
that's
touching
what
my
ends
ears.
up. The fade on the side right now is very popular. You have long hair and it just is shaved on the side.
Yep.
Always.
Yeah. Yep.
But No, but I got the haircut that I wanted, and I didn't care whether, long hair was in or people were telling me to get my hair or cut or grow it out. I had a buzz cut, and that's what I went with.
Okay.
My point being with the haircut diversion that we've taken here is that when you start to think about yourself and the ownership that I'm going to put my hands at 10 and 2 on my life right now and start making some choices, now you're starting to act like a man. When you're letting your choices be determined and dictated by an outside entity, that is boy stuff. And there is a transfer of time, and I am very keyed in on this right now because my son is 16 and I'm trying so hard to not be the problem of the failure to launch. Because mommy doesn't want to let go. But I know I have to because I want grandbabies, so he can't be a mama's boy, and likely I get little fry grandbabies. He needs to start making some decisions for himself, and you need to not transfer I do what makes my mom happy to I do what makes my wife happy. Because what will make your wife happy is ownership, not of her, but ownership in life and confidence and autonomy, because that's what's going to attract her to you to begin with, is the person you are, not the person that you are because of her. That's the gravity that keeps pulling her back to you. The second that your entire life is defined by making her happy, that becomes a burden for her. I don't know if that makes anything more clear for you, Brad, because I know that you weren't understanding what I was saying, or disagreeing with it, one or the other.
I think it was more I was disagreeing with it because I think that my experience with women has been their behavior, all of their behavior and their actions, no matter what their words say, their behavior and their actions say otherwise. They want you to make the right decision. They want you to make decisions for yourself as long as it's the decision that they want you to make.
I don't think that's true.
But
I mean, I can't speak for the women that you've dealt with in your life and say that your understanding of your experiences is wrong. But I think a good woman in a healthy relationship wants to be a partner, not to feel like they have to shoulder the load and the burden, and that their emotional feeling at any given time is the impetus for you to feel like you succeeded that day, for their man to feel like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I'm going to push back on that, because whenever the guy makes the decision that the wife doesn't like, then there's a friction in a relationship. I'll use this from my relationship, because this will never actually be a real problem. But whenever my wife and I first got married, we had a difference of opinion on what should happen as far as paying for college for kids. So if we had kids, should we pay for part of their college, or should that be on them if they want to go to college? I was of the mindset that it should be on them. If they want to go to college, this is what my uncles and all of my family members did that wanted to go to college. They got their loans, they worked their way through college, that sort of thing, and they paid for it. My wife, when she was growing up, her father took a second job, a part-time job, and the money from that job went to her and her brother's college funds, and their bachelor's degrees were pretty much paid for by their dad by the time they were done. And we had a big disagreement on that. But at the end of the day, if you have a kid and you come to that point, somebody's going to have to make a decision on that. Somebody's going to have to give way, and somebody's not. And if the husband is the one with the dreams and the goals and the aspirations, like what you're saying, and he says, no, we're not going to do that, that is going to make her upset and angry.
Because he's making a decision without her input.
But he took it into it, but he said, this is why. But
it's not his decision to make on his own.
And this is the example that I'm giving. You don't really want him to be the one taking impetus. You're saying that he has to make the right decision, but he has to take but what is the middle ground on that?
Well, I don't think that that's a decision that is really factoring into how a woman feels attracted to a man. But in a situation like that, which you didn't end up having to make that decision, so we don't know how it would have played out. It's not like she gets input until you decide she doesn't. That would not be a healthy relationship. You'd have to measure the situation in the moment and come together. And I mean, if she's making money and she wants to put money to that college education, I don't think you get to tell her no.
So again, when that comes to it, then what he wishes isn't being honored. It's what she wishes.
I don't know that example is a good one, except that it doesn't really play into the purpose of the man. Like it's not
at
really.
all.
Well, I mean, it's leadership of
it's leadership, generally speaking.
Yes,
but it's not really.
And for the man,
overall
okay,
purpose.
here, let me put the leader. So, as part of a man's job is raising your kids, is teaching your sons responsibility and stuff like that. So, if you have sons, one of the things you're doing by not paying for their college and saying, hey, if you want this is going to be on you. I can walk you through the process. I can help you with it, but this is your responsibility. It's building responsibility in your young men.
Okay, and I will add that even in a decision like that, which I'm not saying is reflective of purpose, but you're making the case that it is for sure, that even if she disagrees with it, she still finds it attractive. Because if it is related to his purpose and he is that committed to it, and it's nothing wrong. You're like, if your purpose is like, well, I want to have a threesome. Like, no. No. But if you have a purpose that's a good purpose, and your wife disagrees with you, I think she still finds it attractive even when she disagrees with you.
If you had some autonomy and you had like thoughtfulness behind having a position that was in stark contrast to what she had, then you're putting input in and you're contributing, which is really kind of what this all comes down to, I think, is a contribution to something that is greater than the two individual people apart. But I mean, you said you thought that was a good example. That is not at all the type of example that I'm talking about when I'm discussing how a woman would be attractive to a man who's like, I have the goal of accomplishing this in my career. I have the goal of writing a book. I have the goal of achieving said thing. And that achievement and that purpose exists outside of her satisfaction at any given point in any given time. To your example that you gave, Brad, to suggest that you would be having a conversation with your wife about this particular issue, I can't weigh in on your marriage and how that would have worked out. But in my marriage, if we were having a conversation back and forth, we were both financial contributors to the relationship. We both parented the child that we were talking about. It's not a discussion where at the end he's like, well, this is how it's going to be and I'm out. Like, that's not, in my viewpoint, a healthy marriage at all, that I would be married to a man who would be like, this is how it's going to go. If we're equal contributors in the thing that's being decided on, that would be wildly unattractive to me.
Last one?
Well, you can rebut.
I think I've made my point. The guy has to have the ability to take control, but women say that they want that, provided
who said that? Why? I didn't say that I want men to take control. I want men to have an individual purpose. That's way different than being like, I'll make the decisions here.
Well, no, I think, like I said, he has the purpose. He makes the decisions. You're like, this moves the relationship together forward, but it has to move the relationship together forward in the same direction. And sometimes men and women, husbands and wives, don't agree on what that direction is. And sometimes those directions are so starkly contrast that somebody has to make a decision and somebody has to give up their position.
Yes. But what we're talking about in the context of what this article says is attractive is that a man has an individual purpose. I feel like you're arguing you're advocating for oranges and I'm advocating for apples here, that they're not intersectional in that the point I'm trying to make doesn't really have anything to do with the point you're trying to make, and that they would be two separate conversations.
Well, I mean, the conversation's that because of the example that I gave.
Yes, which I don't think is correlating to the point that was given.
The text line is blowing up.
Should we take a break and dip into it?
We probably should, because there are some very strong opinions on this.
Next.
314-241-9797.
Don't go away. Air Comfort Service, online at aircomfortservice.com. When you can't agree on where your comfort zone is, I bet it's not 85 in your house. You can agree on that. And here's something else that you can do. Get out and make that phone call to Air Comfort Service to get you back into your comfort zone. And you'll be very, very happy to know that they'll be able to answer a 24/7 emergency call. They can help repair. They can offer a replacement situation if that's something that you need to do. And you can get a quote for that replacement or repair online if you go to aircomfortservice.com/repair. There's a get a quote button right there on the aircomfortservice.com website. Easy to use, easy to follow, gives you a ballpark of what you're looking in. Ballpark's usually what you want anyway. You can call them directly for more specific details and a more specific quote at 314-513-0091. Also, I want to remind you, business owners, office managers, if you know that you've got an HVAC concern here that's plaguing your office, making it unworkable, you know you need to get it fixed, or maybe even just get a free second opinion, reach out to Air Comfort Service. They do residential and commercial, and they are the best at it. 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. aircomfortservice.com.
Sports and local.
Sponsored by Boredom. Take it away, Irfin.
That's not good.
I like when they insult you.
You wrote them.
Yeah. Those
That's
are the
you
best
insulting
ones.
him.
Yeah, I know. That's why they're funny.
Cardinals won
Someday.
yesterday, 1-0, right?
Someday, there will be a wonderful opportunity to get back at you for all of the flack
Hey,
that
Ethan?
you have caused me over these past couple of years.
Ethan?
And that is going to be a great moment.
Name your time and place. It's yours. I will make it
No,
happen.
don't, because it's going to be something like he just
No, it
sees
just-
me outside and he just shoves a knife in my abdomen.
No!
Like, got your back, huh? Gotcha.
Who's bored now?
Cardinals win 1-0 yesterday. Huge victory. Anything to add?
No.
Yeah.
J.J. Weatherholt, home run.
We're back in the
Only
game.
Hit of the... Or, sorry, not only hit, only run of the day.
Okay.
We're buyers, baby.
Yeah, let's go.
we're so back.
Just set
The
the, table.
typical St. Louis Cardinals fan right there.
Brad and I are arguing. Ryan, it's over your content, so just set the table for our listeners, and then we'll go to the text line.
Okay, of all these
The listeners mostly being
things
Ethan.
women find attractive in men, things women actually find attractive in men, we got really hung up on number 4 of 5, which is men having something they're working toward, having a sense of purpose. So all this argument, and I got to go to the text line because there are so many comments. I'm going to miss some.
314-241-9797.
This one says, a woman wants to control everything without making the decisions.
Agree? Disagree?
A woman wants to control...
A woman.
A woman wants to control everything without... What? Say it again?
without making the decisions.
Without making the
so,
decisions.
Like all the stuff down here she wants to control, but the main decisions she doesn't want to control.
I think maybe what they're implying is that women don't want to make the decision. They want you to make her decision that she wants.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Do you agree with that, Ryan? That women...
To an extent.
Yeah?
To an extent. But
Even?
that's just the nature of humanity.
Read it one more time.
A woman wants to control everything without making the decisions.
Ethan, you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Brad?
Yeah.
I think that the way traditional society is handled, that women aren't by default put in positions to make decisions. That it's expected in normal land for men to make decisions and not expected for women to make decisions. So when women step up and make decisions, it seems a little abnormal. But women always have always have thoughts and opinions on things. Good men work with their good women to come to mutually agreeable decisions. And so I think that the reason why that is the way it seems is because that's the way it is because it just is less reflexive for a woman to stand up and make decisions. Okay. And when they do, they're called a bitch. So anyway.
Okay, here is... Whoa, she just said the B word. Okay, next one.
I said it fast.
Yeah, we just kind of went over it, right?
Sorry.
We didn't highlight it or anything. If a woman expects a man to keep her happy, it's a setup for disappointment and strain in the relationship.
If a woman expects a man to keep her happy...
It's a setup for disappointment and strain in the relationship from the text line.
Brad?
Oh, yeah, I would say that's true.
That's my whole point.
Well, I think we agree on that, though. All of us do.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, we agree on that point. But like the thing is it's like this isn't about like the goal being to keep her happy. Yeah, there's an element of everything that a man does that is to make sure that his wife is happy, safe, and secure. The goal is to have a great marriage. Part of that is making sure your wife is happy.
I think that's... I don't believe in the goal being to make your wife happy.
Agreed.
I think the goal is to live a partnered life that makes your wife happy. That the end result, like the consequence of the relationship and the existence causes her happiness. But the goal can't be if your whole marriage is based on, gosh, happy wife, happy life. I'm sorry. Even if she is happy,
that to Katie sometimes.
well, I know, but it's never probably
Jokingly.
flattering. You know,
Yeah.
It's like I always say when my wife calls me dear, it's always his word for the B word that I just said. He's like,
Your wife.
I'm going dear.
I mean, you just said there that the goal
Easy, Jared.
the goal
He doesn't
isn't
like it when I do that
to make your wife happy. It's to have a happy wife.
Okay.
I didn't say that. That's not the point. The goal, you can't live your marriage in a way where the whole purpose of your existence is to try to keep her happy. That I'm saying that won't actually be the thing that makes her happy.
All right.
You're
More
saying
text.
you can't.
Let's hang on. Now let's go to the text line because I've been waiting to read this one. Brad is so correct. Capital S-O. And I am furrowing my brow at the lib feminist view.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Don't give up arguing Brad.
Tell this guy to keep dating. He'll find someone someday.
Next one, now this is kind of the opposite side of the spectrum, or at least the way I would view it, is it says, making her as happy as she can possibly be should definitely be in your top 3.
Who's top 3 of what?
Of these characteristics.
Rhonda Webb commented again, it's not my husband's job to make me happy. That was not in our vows. Of course, it's also not his job to make me miserable.
All right, here's another one. And it says, I see the way to attract a woman is purpose and direction, emotional maturity, dependability, self-care, and integrity. I'm not sure we could argue with any of those.
Let me ask you this question. How much... I'm going to ask Ethan. He's the newest married person here in the room. And you have a beautiful and lovely wife. When you're going about your day, are you constantly thinking like, I need to do something to make my wife happy? Is that like an active part of your thought process?
No.
Not a trick question.
It's not something I'm actively thinking about. It's almost more so just, I guess, almost a subconscious thing where, you know, when you're around each other, presence, like each other's presence, like you enjoy that.
The byproduct is happiness.
Yeah. I think that if
It's not like a task on your list of to-dos.
If providing happiness for your wife is the goal, I think it gets really dangerous because it just feels like it's way too generalized of a statement. Happiness can mean a lot of things, and it could also mean unhealthy things. So if that is the goal, then does that mean you're willing to sacrifice, maybe things that you don't think would be good but would make her happy? I don't think just like blind, I have to make you happy is always healthy. I think that, the Bible doesn't say that it's a husband's job to make his wife happy.
Honor.
Yes.
Brad,
that byproduct could be happiness
sure.
in that, but it is not. But it is not everything. Yeah.
Brad, you chuckled.
Yeah, because you're still saying you want to be happy.
Sue me.
And so like,
what do you mean? What's wrong with wanting to be happy?
Like my whole thing is it like, well, if my husband's goal in life isn't to make me happy, that would make you what?
It's not. I said it can't be his only purpose. That's all I ever said.
Yeah, right. Happiness could still be a byproduct.
Right. But I mean, it's part of the equation.
Sure. No one's disagreeing.
And like the whole part of saying, hey, don't make her the center of your life.
That's not what I said.
Or the center of your goals of your life, or making her happiness the center of your goals.
Nobody ever said that, Brad. Nobody ever said that.
So
the point of the number 4 in this said that women find it attractive when men have a purpose. Can you read it again? Going back to the whole
having
point of this.
Something you're actually working towards / having a sense of purpose.
So what happens if that thing that you're working towards doesn't line up with the purpose of what your spouse has?
That is going to be
that's something
fireworks.
that you vet before you get married.
And also, that
like,
doesn't mean
like
she
how big
doesn't
of a
find it
picture are we
attractive,
talking about here? Because we're talking about goals in that area, right?
Yeah.
So like if one of your goals is to
be a baseball player.
Okay. Let's say it is to be a baseball player.
Really bad
it's a real scenario where the guy's going through AAA and
she
and
really
not
has a good sense of humor.
And he's not making a lot of money, but he's working toward the goal. But the wife is like, hey, we need to settle down and have kids and do all this stuff because I'm running out of this. But this was the goal, the purpose, and passion of his life. Who's right in that situation?
You don't get married.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, but maybe she didn't understand beforehand how much sacrifice it would be.
I think we're talking about just the moment of attraction and maybe even beyond that. Because, yes, that's going to become a huge problem in a marriage if your goals and your wife's goals are very different. That's going to become a huge problem. But the moment of attraction is still there for when a guy has a goal and a purpose. And that's all this is saying.
Barbara says, love you, but cut Brad some slack. I totally get what he's trying to say. I just feel like the direction, Brad, that you're taking this is in the bottom of the 8th inning of a 20-year marriage or a 10-year marriage, and we're talking about attraction. And I'm saying that women find it attractive when a man has an autonomous, independent existence by way of purpose or goal, that they're pursuing something where the measure of success on that isn't always back in the lap of the woman that they're with. That you don't want to be the only thing that man is laser in focused on.
Okay, last couple texts because I know we're going long here. The first one says, he's totally right. A woman wants a man to appear to be a leader and have a sense of purpose and all that up until the moment it goes against how she thinks something should go. That's, I think, echoing a different texter that's been in here too. And here's the last one I'll read.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you guys, you're never going to get to the last topic on the list because you dissected the one.
But you're still listening. You're still listening. You're still listening.
To death. Mm-hmm. That is correct. Thank you from the 270, whatever area code that is.
Annie, you sound like you went to space there for a second.
I did. I feel like it. I'm going to come back down to earth. What's number 5?
The last one is don't skip the emotional availability. Being emotionally available and not cut off.
It's important as well.
It's important as well. Is it tied for first for you? All the rest of them have been.
I don't know if Trish is out there, but we can maybe see if she wants to rope in on this one too.
She is out there.
Yeah,
so she's
like,
ready to go.
You're missing your breaks, Annie. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports. And she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working-class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
How We Made Your Mother is a rewatch podcast that looks back episode by episode at the hit TV show How I Met Your Mother. It's hosted by me, Josh Radnor, along with series co-creator Craig Thomas.
In seasons 1 and 2, we were joined by Neil Patrick Harris, Kobe Smulders, Bryan Cranston, Ashley Williams, Wayne Brady, Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey, Joe Manganiello, and my brilliant co-creator Carter Bays, and now we are diving into season 3.
So whether it's your 50th rewatch or your first time through, follow How We Made Your Mother wherever you get your podcasts.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Our YouTube live chat poll today is, what is your biggest concern going in the midterm election? Is it affordability, the Iran conflict, election integrity, or socialism? Let us know. It is 2:39. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. So we've got Trish in here. Normally we would do Annie, are you okay? This is the longest Wiggins America segment we've ever done, ever.
I love it. And plus, I don't have to talk that much.
Trisha, just mediating. Trisha's in here with us. Hi.
Hi, Annie and crew.
Somebody in the chat was like, Trisha, 2 days in a row? Yeah.
Is that what they said? Or were they like, oh, Trisha?
No, they're pumped about it. They're very excited about it. Ryan, set the table.
All right, we have been talking since 12:45, on and off. I mean, in between,
we've talked to a lot of people
having
since
Don
this.
Tracy on from Senate from Illinois, and then Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg. We've been talking about things women actually find attractive in men, and we got hung up on the point that said, have something you're actually working toward for a man. Have a sense of purpose. Now, do you want to stop there, or do you want to go on to the next one?
Let's do the fifth one because the people have asked. And then I'd like to know, Trisha said she's been listening, so I'd like to get her feedback on it.
Okay, the last one, Trisha, we'll give this to you first then. Don't skip the emotional availability part for men.
Also, just before Trisha started, we went to break, and Brad goes, I got a lot to say about that.
Yeah.
So,
It's often easier for women to be open, especially it says sexually, but that safety doesn't come from grand gestures. It comes from consistency, and women have been saying so the entire time about emotional availability of men.
So these are things women actually find attractive, and I've been agreeing or disagreeing with the list, and I'm 4 for 4. Absolutely in lockstep with it.
Yeah.
So the thing is being emotionally available?
Yep. That's the last one.
I agree that is attractive, and I think it's a sign of maturity for men.
She's like, and that's how you
And
do
Brad's
it.
like, nope.
Brad?
I need y'all to define what you mean by emotional availability.
Well, you define
because-
what it means to you.
So right now, what I'm hearing is we want you guys to be in touch with your emotions, and then whenever the guy is in touch with their emotions, then they're too emotional. And
I don't think that a guy. So I don't want. No offense to Ryan, for him to come to me and be like, I really need to pour my heart out on a regular basis. Like
Offense to Ryan.
As a friend, if he needs to talk, sometimes that's fine. But I am talking about my partner. Like, I don't want my partner to feel like he has to stuff things down.
Be locked up
in a way that's going to cause issues elsewhere. Because he doesn't feel like he can release some of that emotion to me. I think it is powerful and very attractive when my partner can come to me and say, I have feelings and this is, let's work through these together.
Rebuttal.
When Ryan does it,
Ryan's like, I have something to say.
I'm very uncomfortable.
Rebuttal. Sometimes it is good when guys just stuff it away and don't say anything about it.
I think that's what you all
Are
think.
you saying guys or partners?
Partners.
Brad?
Partners, potential partners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll agree with the opposite view of that a little bit. Now, I don't think that means you're not emotionally available, though.
Hold on.
To what the article's saying.
Hold on. Brad wanted a definition of what emotionally available meant. And Trisha, you provided one, which is when your spouse partner has emotions that they need to understand that they're feeling those emotions.
And that they're comfortable sharing that, that they
if it's
feel
a factor in your relationship.
Yes.
So, Brad, what's your response to that?
So that's kind of along the lines of what I was thinking, but all too often women take that emotional availability when the man finally does open up to them.
How many women have you dealt with that are because you're
have you just seen Ryan come to my office?
How many women?
Every morning.
I mean, come on, guys. I do premarital counseling, and I do I deal with a lot of people, and so a lot of times women will say that they want that, and then what they'll do is they'll turn around and take whatever that man opened up to them about, and they will use it in an argument to score points. And then when that's over, then the guy will shut down.
Relationship,
it isn't.
Though.
It isn't.
That is a sign, in my opinion, of immaturity, not of a
but
male-female.
That would
not
explain
just how women are.
But that would explain why a man and men in general are hesitant to open up to women
because they're in bad relationships with
a
bad
lot
women.
of women.
They should only be in a relationship with one. That's probably the
and
problem.
Probably a grown-up.
Yeah, but when you're trying to find that one, and you find the one that goes, I'm going to stab you in the back because you opened up to me, then you're like, all right, moving on. And then how many times is the guy going to go through that before he's just like, you know what, this landmine I'm not stepping on again?
I mean, Trisha, I would agree with him that would be bad behavior on a woman's part, but I don't think that that's how women are.
No, I mean, I don't. Ryan, what do you think?
I'm not. I'm just reading
He's
the text
not
line.
thinking.
I'm
And
reading
when
the
a
text
man
line.
says they're not thinking,
He's
you
smiling.
can believe them. My husband tells me that all
He's
the time.
sitting over there smiling, like you could just see his teeth.
He sees behind the curtain on the text line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I'd have to really sit down, and I don't want to look back on this conversation and later and be like, oh, they're right, I do that, because I really don't think so. I think that there is a maturity, an age thing, and a grown-up factor to this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that maybe when you're adolescent and you are dating or whatever it is, you act differently. But I think women and men act differently. Men are more macho, women are more
If women are expecting what you have said that you're expecting, which is a man to understand his emotions enough to be able to go face to face with him first and foremost.
Yes.
And then when that emotion affects your relationship with them, with you and him, when the emotions are a factor in the relationship that is existing, to be able to say, you know what, I'm really angry right now, or it really hurt my feelings that you said that. I'm kind of self-conscious about that. When you said that or did that, that really bugged me. To be able to say that, what we're saying is it's attractive when a man is mature enough to handle that like an adult man.
Yes.
But obviously, a woman would have to handle it like a mature adult woman. And I apologize for the crap women that have not done that. But that's not how women are in healthy relationships.
I am amazed that you guys are like this surprised by the prevalency of just immature women, especially when we're talking about people of dating age. Because I think
what is dating age? Everybody's dating, and every age dates,
and that's not really where we're at in life.
Well,
either,
I know it's not, but that's what this article is talking about, or at least that's what we were talking about at the moment of attraction with the previous.
Yeah,
what's attractive?
Finding attractive,
and I still think it's important. I've been married to Jared 19 years. I still find him very attractive, and the things that I find most attractive about him aren't the physical attributes, even though I still find him physically attractive to me. But it's these types of things where we can have intellectual, emotional, substantive conversations and trust one another with that position. Ryan,
I'm sorry. The
come back
comments,
to the
the text comments are
here.
so funny. I'll read a real one first. It says emotional availability doesn't mean being in touch with his inner emotions and unafraid to display them. Emotional availability pertaining to a relationship means that he is emotionally available for a relationship and ready to dedicate to a monogamous relationship.
I don't disagree with that. It's a different perspective, but I agree with the statement.
This one says these topics and the debates taking place are exactly how and why gay men exist. And then this one.
Well, Brad, there's always that. If none of the women can,
if they're all too immature for you.
I hope you find a very emotionally available dude.
Very real conversation here. It says, if I shared a quarter of the things that stressed me out and make me anxious with my wife, she couldn't handle it.
Oh my gosh. And take that times 1,000,000 about the things that are frustrating a woman at any time. That's not male or female. We'll be right back.
We're here to celebrate America's 250th birthday in 2026. This is 97.1 FM Talk. America 250 is sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
Home Shield Foundation Repairs.com, online, easy to go learn about all the different things that they offer when it comes to the foundation repair of your home. 314-271-9900. 314-271-9900. When you call Matt Hayes and the team at Home Shield Foundation Repair, you're getting experts who understand how to fix cracks in your walls that are caused by foundation resettlement. They can use a service called peering to make sure they go above and beyond to restore the integrity of your foundation. They'll do it right the first time. Call 314-271-9900 or go to their website at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com to learn about the full breadth of the processes, the services that they can offer you, from as simple as leveling out the concrete on your patio or walkway to waterproofing your basement once and for all so that you can use that space once again as it was intended. 314-271-9900. Call 314-271-9900 or visit them online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Bill, you're an old politician.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old-timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your Politicians Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, allowing politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people, and the Politicians Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside Ford 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, allowing a minority of the most liberal statewide voters in one district to effectively end our power to stop corruption and out-of-control spending and taxing.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom. 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the Politicians Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, At Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
So the YouTube live chat poll for today, what's your biggest concern going into the midterm election? Affordability, the Iran conflict, election integrity, or socialism? That's the vote that we want you to go cast at the Annie Frey YouTube channel right now in the live chat. You can also text us your thoughts on it, but the text line is full. And I have never seen Ryan pay so little attention to this show and laugh so hard just reading your comments on the text line.
It's been fun. And please continue them.
He's going to stay here during Mark Reardon's show. He's like, I'm not done. I'm reading this book.
Yeah. Sorry, Sue. I'm in your spot.
Do we have loose ends? What did I tease something?
No, I think you got it almost all. A lot of people chiming in about women. I guess the article itself is focused on men and the attributes that men would have for women to find them attractive, and therefore the impetus really isn't on women to really have any role in that. And that's where we're getting kind of caught up in some of it.
Sure. It's just like what would make me attracted to a man? Obviously, I'm very happily 19 years married, but what would I, as a woman, find attractive in a man? That's a very different perspective than we're 10 years into our relationship. We have kids who are now going to college and we're disagreeing about how to fund that. I mean, that ship has sailed. You're together. You're yoked. An oath before God. Figure it out.
Right. And this text just came in.
That's what I would say if I were emotionally unavailable.
Yeah, and this is just a question for the room. I'm just going to read it from the text line. Can we all agree that Wiggins is the MVP? Question mark.
Of what?
It just says MVP.
And all of us?
Did you text yourself?
I did not. That's not my number. And I don't think I would have forgotten if I had done it.
Forgotten.
Don't worry about it.
Trisha, the big debate that we had that you haven't really participated in yet is number 4, which is that women find it attractive when a man has a sense of purpose. Mm-hmm. My point was, yes, incredibly so. When a man has a goal or a purpose that exists because they have it intrinsically, independently, autonomously, because of who they are as a person, that they have this where the entire purpose and focus doesn't become on her, that is an attractive, very attractive part of a man. Do you agree?
I do.
We have 2 minutes.
I know Brad's taking the counter to this, and I feel like there's probably some truth in both of the things you're saying. But if you have,
I was going to say my addendum to that would be, I would just add on to the end, provided that goal and purpose lines up with what she has for her life.
Yes. And I think to Annie's earlier point, you guys are arguing different things. I think to the article's point, it is attractive when a man or another human has drive and you'd never want to be the center of that. Like, that's too much pressure. But to your point, you want to be pulling in the same direction. It's attractive to be on the same team and pulling in the same direction.
Now, to the point of being at the center of that, the end goal is the same.
Well, but the end goal is not a human. The end goal is a happy life.
Happy.
Together, where you're each happy. So it does not make, if my partner's whole goal every day waking up is like, I want to serve you, I'm like, that's a lot. But if his goal waking up every day is, let's figure out how we can provide for our family, how we can grow this house, grow our future, secure our future. That is,
but that's my whole point. It's you can't.
At the same time, I'm doing those things Two, because
Right.
those things together make us both happy, but I'm not doing them because it makes him happy. I'm doing it because we're like pulling in the same direction.
But you're happy doing it.
But we're happy doing it.
But you want your husband to be happy, correct?
Yeah, I don't want, but it's not my whole goal is not to wake up every day and serve him to make him happy, just like I wouldn't want that from him.
But why even do those things if they don't make you happy?
Because they're the right thing to do.
Because I want a fulfilling life.
Okay, so it would fulfill you. It would make you feel happy.
Yes.
So I guess what I'm saying
there are
is
so many things that I do in life that don't make me happy. That for whatever reason, people tell me I still have to pay my bills.
But do you, Brad? Do you think that like your whole purpose in life is waking up and serving another person?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay,
My whole
so
life.
I don't. I disagree
Like
with that.
I am not serving myself. We got to go.
We've hit time.
I came in
This is
too
it.
late.
Tell Mark Reardon to stay where he is. We're not done yet. Sorry, guys. The YouTube live chat poll for today has nothing to do with that. What's your biggest concern about going into the midterm election? Brad said Trump's happiness. I don't get it. 6% said
purpose.
6% say the Iran conflict. Now listen to this breakdown. 28% socialism, 30% election integrity, and 36% affordability, which is basically what you said, Ryan, in the beginning. And I don't like to tell you that because it's going to make you happy.
It's all about making me happy.
We still have 30 seconds.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by LendSeek.
Little tweaks in your saving and spending habits can help you achieve big goals.
Are you trying to pay down a credit card loan? Are you trying to boost your retirement savings?
Sandy Brager of Aspiriant in San Francisco says you can automate contributions to a savings account. You can also audit your subscriptions. Those small monthly fees can add up.
Are they still serving you? If they're not, cut them off.
I'm Rob Hart.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com.